Here's a question for you. How come when we hear the call of the wild, so many of us don't even bother to answer? Well, one such person answered the shit out of that call and hiked the PCT, much like Reese with or without her spoon. My college friend, Brad Prescott, him and his little brother, Vance, his far more attractive and most likely more fertile brother, Vance, hiked that shit in about 5 months. Some ungodly speed, these Eagle Scouts. So I drove 9 hours up to the land of potatoes to see Bradford, and the bastard doesn't even 9 hours, and he greets me with a hug, not even a BJ. What a jerk. What a jerk. But we get over it. We have a podcast about nature, life, plenty of digression, plenty of White Claws. It's a fabulous time. Hope you all enjoy it. Go enjoy it. No goddamn mass in this podcast.
Okay.
Hey, Bradford.
Hey.
Let us clinks White Claws.
The claw clink?
Claw clink. Good old-fashioned claw clink.
Welcome back to the claw clink.
Claw clink indeed. Bradford, our current location. Where are we?
Boise.
Boise?
You have to say Boise.
Why do you have to say Boise?
All the locals will run you out of town.
Oh, with their Mormon torches and flags and
they'll just,
pitchforks?
They'll know you're from California and literally run you out of town.
Boise.
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 You say Boise, you're...
Oh, you're a chode. You're a dirtbag scum.
You're a Chad from California, and they'll run you back home.
Cousin Chad. He is not your typical Chad. Not a Chad.
He sounds like a Chad.
He's a solid Chad.
I know Chad.
A level above the Chads.
I've met Chad. Have I met Chad?
Yeah, for sure.
We played a video game.
It's Chad, right? Chad. He's the one who played Ken Griffey Jr., Major League Baseball. That Chad.
Yeah,
Good Chad. Oh.
That game.
God, we are in Boise.
Boise.
People in Hawaii are always like, say Hawaii.
No, it's Hawaii.
Hawaii with a V?
Hawaii.
Why?
I don't know. I'm
They're
not from
trying
there.
to give us mainlanders hell for this nonsense.
Trying to keep the howlies out.
Howling!
They're trying to get the howlies out. Because that's what we do. We howl.
Oh my god, I'm howling. How many times a day you're howling?
Well, yeah, I
guess
I'm a howlie.
I try to line up with the Muslim prayers. I go to like 5 a.m. and then I go for second breakfast at 11. Afternoon and evening. I believe that is the time.
You gotta do
but
your
that is also a wildly inaccurate assumption of how many times Muslims pray a day.
You've done your research,
I'm trying to remember 8th grade. We were taught a lot about it in 8th grade.
Really?
At St. James Catholic High School in Davis, California. We learned science. We learned about evolution. Learned about sex for all of 5 minutes until we all started giggling when we heard the word,
vagina.
Anal cavity or
Anal
vagina,
cavity.
and we just couldn't. Attention had to be eject.
It's
all
a big
attention.
deal. That's a big deal.
There's no way I could pay attention to this. There's boobs and cartoon pictures of a penis.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to pay attention to this and learn about it? Therefore, we always stopped, and I didn't truly learn about all of it until goddamn high school. Or thank God I had an older brother to learn me the ways.
Must be nice.
Older brother. You had an older sister.
Had an older sister.
What was that like?
She would just bring her friends around.
And she'd sacrifice them to
as
you?
a middle schooler,
you would feast?
You just stay hard.
Oh my god.
You just gotta stay hard.
So you lost your virginity at the ripe old age of 11.
I wish.
In middle school. Jesus. I don't know.
No.
That could
No.
be irreparable
That'd be
damage.
bad. We've seen people who have done that and it did not go over.
Who that? Who? Name names.
Are we naming names?
I don't know. Anybody that at 11?
Yeah.
Does his name rhyme with Kyle?
Yes.
Oh
yes, it
God.
does. The one guy we're both thinking of. Yeah. That guy.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
That's a little young.
Turn him into
I don't even know if I
turn
knew
him
how
into
to,
a snake, shall we say.
I didn't even know how to whack at that age at 11. I don't know.
Who has even imagined? Well, it was all imagination. We didn't have
Possibly.
porn back then.
Fuck you did. Let me
porn
spin
back
you a
then?
yarn after you introduce yourself.
It's
sir,
like
are-
break into a computer room and try to print out porn.
Didn't even know that was... Sir, you are Bradford T. Prescott, the T for true, T-R-U. Forget the E, because it's a name. You can forget the rules.
It is the truth.
This is the truth. Brad Prescott. There's a camera saying, Allah.
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 Allahu Akbar.
We met We met, what, in Colegio.
Yes.
Freshman year.
2009.
2009.
2009.
The
11
gods
years.
saw fit to pair us together in a dormitory at Sonoma State University in Sarah.
Oh, fuck, Sarah.
And
What was our apartment, or our dorm number? Do you remember?
No, 69.
It was
No, it wasn't.
2614 or something like that?
That's absolutely.
Doesn't that
guarantee
kind of sound
we'll
right?
Go there and retake our kingdom and slaughter those inside.
We could hide in the attic. Remember, that was their hole in the attic.
Going there, see, Sonoma State. So yeah, that's our background, and the main line, I guess, to this episode will be nature, but we're gonna digress so much. We've been drinking all day.
Pretty
We've been
much.
conversing, and we're just gonna continue said conversations, and the conversation go as it might. Who am I to direct it?
Let
it evolve. I'm
the host.
I am merely the conduit of conversation.
You're merely the host to direct this
Merely.
podcast.
This is my podcast.
Just a host, that's all.
Just a stupid.
Fucking host.
Any curse words, I'm gonna slobber all over myself. All curse words are bleeped out.
Are they really?
Crazy. Fuck.
You have to go through and bleep out curse words?
I do it because I think bleeps are funnier
Why?
than the curse words themselves. Plus,
I don't
it
know.
keeps it, PG-13.
You have kids
I'll allow
under 13 listen to this.
For some reason, there's a bizarre, when I'm thinking of what I'll allow and what I don't allow, say asshole for instance. When I'm editing, sometimes I bleep out ass, sometimes I bleep out hole.
It's like God damn it when people will bleep out the God or bleep out the damn.
I leave God damn it.
Oh,
It's
okay,
like one word. It's a fun word. Lowercase.
It's a fun word.
It's great. God damn it.
So fun.
Ass. What do you think should be bleeped out in ass?
Cunt. What?
Naughty. So when I go back, say I'm the FCC for my own show.
Okay.
All right. When the word asshole comes along, do you bleep out ass or hole? Because I can say ass.
Yeah.
I'm not bleeping that out. It's
Yeah.
easy peasy. But in combination, it's ass is just a match. But you add a little hole to it.
True.
Gasoline's a little.
I guess most radio shows and everyone else just bleeps out the hole and leaves the ass.
say, yeah.
That's kind of weird though, because
But the word hole by itself is not a bad word.
Exactly.
Ass by itself,
they're leaving the ass but bleeping the hole, which makes it like a different kind of word, but still the bad word is ass. That's weird.
It's a bizarre takeout. It's like ass is the negative. If I say ass, it's a
but
bad
they're leaving
word.
the negative.
But then there's the hole. Does the hole some kind of?
It makes it a visual thing.
You
can see the hole.
Oh my god! It adds
ass
an
is
element.
just a vague ass.
It's a non-violent element that, when added to something, say the word itself, in our minds, it's now an explosive asshole.
Oh my God.
Two words joined together is an explosive element. The tangled web that is the English language, Bradford. How the would even get in this conversation? Asshole. Can't rewind. Bleeping.
Asshole. What's that from? That's from something.
That's from Meet the Parents.
Oh yeah,
Ben
the
Stiller.
little kid. Yeah.
It's always fun trying to guess the height of celebrities. Ben Stiller's short as
I just saw him on this documentary talking about acid trips. Ben Stiller.
Oh, what was his acid trip like?
He just said it sucked and he did it once at his agent gave it. I don't know. I fell asleep.
I would. So not that interesting.
I was so high.
So one of the stories I did want to get into, Bradford, you're one of the few people that hath completed the PCT, the Pacific Crest Trail. You and, of course, your brother Vance.
My brohim.
And your brohim, and you're also amongst the likes of legendary hikers such as Reese Witherspoon. You're there.
Oh, I'm along with it.
You are lucky enough to be sniffing that behind her coattails.
Reese without her spoon.
I've never seen her without it.
She's always had it.
She can't let go of it.
It's in the name.
It's there.
She's got the spoon. She's born with that spoon.
Skull with her spoon. Well, get another claw if you want. I thought you said your claw was sharp. Oh, the wild turkey.
Oh, the wild turkey.
Are you just sipping from the bottle like a madman?
I was thinking we're almost out.
Are we? Naughty. I know there's still some in there, boy.
Anyways, Reese without her spoon.
So yes, nature, outdoorsy. Your resume, Eagle Scout.
That's about it.
Ex-con. You are a goddamn gang member.
I'm a gang.
I mean, are you in it for life or do you get jumped out?
It's not a gang. We were rich white kids running around the suburbs
Where are you
thinking
from?
we were hot.
So you're Lafayette?
East Bay.
East Bay.
East Bay, yeah. La Miranda.
You got dealt a good hand, you know. You're over there, and but you joined the Ream Rats. What's the Ream?
Ream Shopping Center.
Shopping Center.
in Moraga, California. Like, whitest place on the face of the earth.
You guys have a leader?
No. Not really. Yeah, it was
just group of ruffians.
It was like groups. It was groups of kids from each grade who would congregate at Ream.
You guys had representative from each grade, like a first grade group.
Not first grade.
Hey, go infest the first grade.
No, this was high school. This was like 9th, 10th, and 11th. And furthermore,
delegates from each
and then
house.
High school graduates who didn't graduate and then stayed there.
Wait. There were.
Yeah, like people after high school would just hang around. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so we would see them in high school thinking like, oh, these guys are so cool. They've got cars and driver's license and can drink.
They graduated and still hung out with high schoolers after they graduated.
Oh, yeah. They were
no thoughts of college.
No. That was like the peak of things to be. Yeah.
What became of those guys?
They're probably still there.
Still reaming at age 32.
Reaming and ratting.
Reaming and ratting.
Everyone
was there. Nobody's there anymore.
Probably all dead.
Hopefully.
Oh. I knew those kids.
No. Sorry.
And they are dead.
So you're an ex-gang member and an Eagle Scout. How many people do you think have completed the PCT? And just for reference, for any of the 3 people that are watching this, listening to this, don't know what the Pacific Crest Trail is, give them an idea of what you went through.
The Pacific Coast Trail, as most people call it. It's the Pacific Crest Trail. It goes from Mexico to Canada, all the way throughout the West Coast, through California, Oregon, and Washington. And my brother and I did it in 2016. It was his idea. I was working, being a piece of shit. He said, hey, let's go do a hike. And I said, yes. We've grown up hiking together in Boy Scouts. We're both Eagle Scouts. Seemed like the good thing to do. And I think it's like maybe 400 people finished it that year.
Did you avoid the ritualistic diddling in your time in the Boy Scouts?
I was lucky enough.
And is there a special badge, like just a red
There's
dot?
a diddle badge.
A diddle badge.
It's just a star.
Oh my God.
It's funny. There is a Star Scout. That's a rank you can get.
You got to reach that rank.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Climb the ladder, indeed.
Yeah.
Sorry. Please.
But anyways. Yeah, survive the Scouts with no diddling.
No diddling.
No diddling to be
you remain pure,
remembered, huh? Yeah. I could be blocking something out, though.
Absolutely are.
You never know.
Yeah, I know.
Till it comes out.
I just see it in your eye.
There's a glint in there somewhere.
It's a glint, a fearful glint. There's like tears back there, just haven't come out yet.
They're always there.
Yeah.
So much pain.
All right, guys. So real dark, real fast. Whatever the fuck this is. Hold on. I'm just messing with shit.
What are you playing with?
I don't know. I felt like that thing should have been moved up a little bit.
Speaking of diddling.
I feel like these should be kind of fluttering. Fuck if I know.
Is this thing on?
It's on.
This is unprofessional. I'm walking out.
Of your house?
Stay here. I'm out of here.
Nice apartment in Boise. So
I'll go back to Winters.
You started when? Quando? For the
trail?
PCT, yeah.
May 3rd of 2016. We finished September 22nd.
And
almost 4.5 months.
Every day, you said you covered 25 miles?
Yeah, average 25 miles. The max was like 32 or 33 miles throughout Oregon. Oregon's relatively flat, so you can just book it.
Right.
But throughout the Sierras, the real mountainous parts was 18, 19 miles
out the gate, is it too bad? It's just...
Yeah, the first day sucked. Well, I was straight out of my job and just drinking at,
What was your stamina like at that point?
Yeah,
honestly, from the outside looking
bad.
in, I said, wow, you're about to do this, Brad. You're in horrible shape.
So I
talking shit behind your back saying, he's not going to make it.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody
Oh,
was.
My God. I doubted it.
I mean, no one thinks they can actually do it till
you do it, right?
Till they fucking do it, yeah. Of course you have second thought, or like, you're doubting yourself the entire time.
Did you ever, was there any moment where you thought, you know what, maybe I can quit? Out the gate, did you think you were going to quit, or did you think you're going to make it? Did you really think you were going to make it, or I'll make it maybe till maybe the Bay Area?
No, No, I had heard enough about the trail where it's all a mind game. It's all in your head.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you're still walking, you can do it. Like,
yeah.
It's just like, oh, I'm walking past Portland or I'm walking past South Lake Tahoe. I could just get off right now. You just have to not think about that.
Yeah, it's like a tease at every checkpoint.
Because you stop by all these towns, or you hitchhike into these towns, and you get a beer and a burger, and you're like, "Fuck, this is really nice. I could just stay here," which a lot of people do.
Really? They just give up?
In South Lake Tahoe is almost halfway throughout the entire trail from Mexico to Canada, and it's right after a really vigorous, miserable part, and then right after South Lake Tahoe is a 40-mile dry stretch with no water at all.
Damn.
So you have to hike all this, potable water on your back.
Potent potables.
Potent potables.
Potent potables.
So most people will go into South Lake Tahoe, go get the Chinese buffet. That was like the thing to get.
Oh, you would knock your dick in the dirt. You might as well get a hotel room and spend the night.
They feel, well, they do. So you can stay there for like a couple days, which Vance and I did too, my brother and I.
Yeah, you might as well chill, relax, and then continue.
Yeah, so we met up with my family in South Lake Tahoe, and we went on hikes. We took them for hikes and got back on trail. But that's when people get depressed, and we're like, a lot of the other hikers would see the society and humanity of South Lake Tahoe and be like, damn, this is what it was like. I could stay here.
No, it's like the fucking sirens beckoning you to your doom.
Exactly. Like, there's food and there's money and there's culture.
What the temptation.
Yeah.
And
ahead of me is more desert, which you had just hiked.
Yeah.
2,000 miles or something through
so
the desert.
Going into the mountains, there's a path, there's a trail that's always connecting, or sometimes do you have to go off the reservation, or you don't know if you're on private property or on whatever? Were you ever lost?
Not really. The PCTA, that's the Pacific Crest Trail Association, did a really good job of connecting both north and south ends of the trail, and it's very well traveled.
Right.
It's a famous trail, it's been around for...
Name an actor that's as famous as the trail.
Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, fucking goddamn famous.
She only did 1,000 miles of the trail. I mean, let's be honest.
Only.
Yeah.
Garbage.
She started in Mojave and went to Bridge of the Gods, which is cutting out 2 of the hardest sections of the trail.
It's all about the narrative. Just saying. What are the hardest... So, mountain climbing. What the fuck? You had to traverse mountains. Were you ever... I can't imagine you're vertically climbing with that.
Not on the Pacific Crest Trail. It's well traveled. Like, through the Sierras, you go over like 11 passes, and it's hard, but you're not rock climbing. You're not mountaineering. You're not roping in. You're not putting on a harness.
Is there BLM land that you camp in? How do you know that you're legally allowed to camp where you're at, or does it matter? You're just like, fuck
it depends on the wilderness. You go through a ton of state wilderness. You go through a ton of federal parks and state parks that have their own laws. So that's where the bear barrel issue comes in.
How heavy is that thing?
You have to ship it. 4 pounds, 5 pounds.
That's not bad.
It's not bad, but when your whole pack is 10 pounds, you want to get rid of that thing as soon as possible. Yeah. So Yosemite, you have to have one because bears are a problem, and there's a bunch of people which make bears a problem. So you have to ship yourself a bear barrel, put all your food in it, hike through Yosemite wilderness in particular. The second you get out of Yosemite, you ship it back home.
That's fucking smart.
Just to get it's to get around the law.
So much planning,
Because bears are a problem. You have to be safe with your food. But when you're hiking 30 miles a day, you can get out of Yosemite wilderness in a day or two. So it sucks having that thing on you. But rangers will stop you, have you knock on the side of your pack to hear that ding of the bear barrel.
You guys get stopped, you and your brother?
Oh yeah. If they're dickheads, the rangers, they'll make you take everything out of your pack, spend half hour taking everything out, showing you the bear barrel, making sure, checking your permits, being little asses about it, or they'll make you knock on it and have you go along your way.
No, I assume usually they're in a good mood. They're happy for. I feel like as a ranger, seeing somebody out on the path on the trail, I'm happy that somebody's interacting in nature, not inside with their thumb up their ass.
Most rangers would be that way.
Yeah. They probably paid for their parking.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Totally. And rangers, they deal with a lot of assholes, I'm sure, but in a place like Yosemite or maybe Yellowstone's like a well-traveled park like that that's have a lot of tourists coming in, I can see them getting pretty salty.
Oh my God.
Dealing with assholes, especially Yosemite when the rains come in and all the tourists want to swim in the pools above the waterfalls.
Yeah.
And then, you know, one tourist goes over the waterfall, then their friend tries to grab him. All of a sudden, 4 people die.
Oh my god.
That happens all the time
People
in Yosemite.
People are dying
all the time.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like...
They're falling down waterfalls and dying?
Oh yeah, the rangers must be fed up. Yeah.
Is it a special type of stupid, or is this pure accident?
It's a special type of stupid.
Why wouldn't you swim at the base of a waterfall?
Idiot. You mean the top? At
the bottom.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
Why wouldn't you be down there? That would be the worst way. You're just falling down and your body splatters on a bunch of rocks underneath.
They didn't find the tourist bodies for like 2 weeks or something like that because they were just churning the entire time. People are so stupid.
Spaghetti when they get out.
Yeah, there's all these signs with like pictures and diagrams in every language. Don't swim on top of this waterfall.
Darwinism working its magic, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
Magic, dude.
Yeah.
But you survived.
That would get old there's millions of people pass through that park every year.
What type of like the mental game? We'll get into that, but physically, like 25 miles and then uphill, that adds mileage to whatever, you know. Insert your algorithm to find out how much more effort it takes to go uphill and forward.
Yeah,
that is very intense.
That's why we were only doing like 18 miles through the passes. Is you're doing like 10,000 feet.
What's the mountain camping like? Or like, did you see bears, animals? Were you ever scared for your life camping out under the stars, snow? What did you endure, sir?
All of the above.
Fuck.
All of the above.
God.
But I've backpacked my entire life pretty much with my brother and other friends and stuff. So I wasn't, you know, dumb about it. I've done most of the scary things in the past and know how to deal with it.
What was the homosexuality tension like with you and your brother? And when you guys finally gave into your lustful primal instincts, what was that like?
So good.
The best. Oh, Vance.
Oh, Vance. We both had girlfriends at the time, and they both hated us for doing this trip.
Oh, God. Did you call them, like, directly? Because you guys have service the entire time. Just like, oh, hey.
Service, surprisingly. A lot of people didn't know, but service was pretty well accessible. So,
I don't think that takes away from, say you're an outdoorsman, wildery. I can only speak so much as a civilian and pussy when it comes to nature and enduring said calamities.
Yeah.
I would have died for sure on this trail, but having cell
you just
service,
ran a marathon, you'd survive.
Well, it's not camping. I can't start a fire without matches and.
We wouldn't have fires. You would
peasants.
You would hike from the second you woke up to the second you fell asleep, and you just pass out in a tent. Hopefully, not die during the night. No. Fire.
Hopefully, not die during. Yeah. Like a serial killer. Wake up, stab it.
You would make dinner in your sleeping bag in your vestibule. Eat dinner, fall asleep, pass out, hopefully
keep going.
Not die. Yeah.
So you guys were hauling ass.
Yeah, dude, 30 miles a day, dude.
That's wild. That's a lot of...
That's too many miles.
That's too many
With your
miles.
home on your back.
28 is good, but...
That's too many.
30 is too many miles. God,
check, please.
Overachievers. Goddamn Prescotts. Prescotts. I'm just playing with my knobs down here.
Can I play with the knob?
It's fun. Not that one. Don't touch that. Yeah, you can touch it. Stop. Okay. I honestly don't know what most of that does. I have not a clue.
Official.
It's beeping. It's got colors. I'm playing with the switches here.
I love it.
Gods be good. I
Gods
had
be
one
praised.
with only 2 of these, right? And then my little brother said, "Hey, we're gonna have more people on. We'll do more podcasts with more guests." I'm like, "Sure."
Like, oh, we're gonna need more knobs.
Shout out to Gordon's fucking audio in Fairfield. Gordon's. I had one that was only 2 of these XLR cables for the audio. And I said, hey, I was just going to get a bigger one. Can I trade this in? Whatever. They said, sure. Oh. They subtracted the total amount of the little one, smaller one I had before.
Like a trade-in.
To this one, traded it in.
Dope.
Still paid this. That's what I like when it comes to conversing or mock it.
You're like haggling.
Haggling somewhat. They said, sure, like, I was good to them. I got these microphones. I got everything for my podcast from them.
Good.
And they're treating me well. And good googity moogity. It is, they call it the porn star because it can take up to 4 inserts, 4 plugins. You get it?
How many holes does a person have?
I'd say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Is the fist a hole?
I mean, it could
an orifice. Does that count as sex?
I've seen my fair share of porn, and I think
you would call that sex.
3, 4, 5.
Oh, different positions or different holes.
Well, all right, so there's one of the stinker, one the vagina, 2 fists.
Let's be scientific, please.
Face, and depending on how comfortable the guys are, there could be 2 wings in the face. If you got Cirque du Soleil, I'm thinking you can pull some clown car gymnastic shit to maximize.
Lots of little dicks and one big vagina.
One big vajoosh.
Wow.
For the Olympic Village is just a fest.
Yeah, I was just hearing about that the other day.
Can you imagine? You don't even sniff
the shenanigans going.
You don't even sniff a woman for months, years of training.
What was it, Rio? I think that ran out of condoms at the Olympic Village. They straight up ran out. I
would love to be able to just do my event out say the first day, win the gold, and then just spend the next month pounding out international Primo Amazon.
Oh, so you win day 1 and
then I don't have to do anything.
You just hang out in the village.
Imagine the men's basketball team. They're gonna win. All the while they're international super. For some reason, the NBA transcends international sports, just like Euro leagues and soccer are infinitely better than we could ever dream of being here in the United States. Soccer, I wish I was more into it. I wish. It's incredible. You're not a sportsman.
I could care less about this whole
You're
competition.
a douche. Yeah. What kind of competition do you enjoy?
I was telling you earlier, Olympics I respect because it's the best of the best of the best. But being
the best
fan of sports team, whatever.
Excuse me. You mind if I get a claw?
Ball means.
Would you like a claw?
Ball means.
Ball means. But whilst I'm going to get said claw,
I'm your huckleberry.
tell a tale of the PCT, an anecdote, if you will, of your 5 months, 4 months, 4.5 months,
4.5,
4.5 months on said trail.
Anecdote,
story, personal yarn. By the time I come back, I want that yarn to be nice. Stocking.
Well, we're in my 1-bedroom apartment, so it'll be about 5-second story before you get these claws. Oh.
Wait, tell the story to the crowd of the weed egg. The little egg?
Oh, yeah, the weed egg. I've got a picture of that I could show, probably.
Please.
Yeah. Okay, that leads into a whole conversation about the trail family aspect of this thing.
Let's talk about the trail family.
That was
Brad,
pretty cool.
what the trail family?
Go get your claw. Get your claw, your shine box.
Yeah.
So, one day, I was hiking. Okay, have fun. And I see a Easter egg in the hole of a stump, or not a stump, there's a down tree. And where the branches were cut or broke off or wherever, there's a big hole, so it's just the bark around it. And inside, everyone's hiking. There's a bunch of people with us. It was after a big, 40-mile dry stretch somewhere. And I look to my left, and there's a little Easter egg just hanging out inside of this hole on this down tree. And I grab it and thought it was that's weird. And everyone's listening to their podcast or whatever, listening to their music, just huffing along in front of me. Whoever we were with that day, our trail family. And I open up this egg, and there's a full joint just hanging out. I was like, oh, this is perfect. And all throughout Oregon and Northern California, everybody would just pass out weed. All the trail angels, doing their trail magic. Most of it was giving weed to hikers because we're all in pain, and weed is a great, cheap thing up there to give to people. Aaron just knocked over the camera. And I smoked this joint one day.
Did you? There could have been anything in that joint. Yeah.
There could have been anything in this joint. It was pretty dry, and I figured it had been there for a little bit. And I kept it on me for a little while inside this Easter egg, and I kept that Easter egg until I finished for probably another 100 miles. Sorry.
Naughty.
And then, it's probably a week or two later, after I smoked this thing, Vance and I were talking, my brother and I were talking about what could we do as trail magic to put back inside this Easter egg to drop somewhere else on the trail. And we're hiking, we have lunch on this, I don't know, there was a little river going over the trail, and we stopped on the river, and it was really gross, and mosquitoes were everywhere. And so we
Where you guys banged?
Where we banged. Yes. And we ate lunch really fast, and this guy walked past us, and he's like, oh, hey guys, like, what's going on? We talked for a second, and as he's walking away, he turns around and he's like, hey, did you guys find an Easter egg?
Idiot. Just by chance.
Like last week or two? And I was like, yeah, dude, like, I found it. Thank you so much for the joint. He's like, oh, yeah, pass it on. I was like, dude.
Yo!
The guy who left this Easter egg somehow got behind me within the last 2 weeks, and then ran past me and somehow asked if I had found it, and I did.
He went to a forest orgy, for sure.
What?
Forest orgy.
A 4G?
It's 4G, so he went up there, you and Vance went forward, smoking, and then he came from behind, as he did much like the weekend prior.
Much like the 4G that I went to.
Yes.
Where you hitchhike 50 miles north, and then hike south, stay there for 5 days, then hitchhike back.
Jesus Christ.
That's how you do it.
Jesus, it's just like...
So you technically hit the entire trail, but you backtracked and went around.
For fun.
For literal to
Jesus, like, you guys... Oh, wait, that was the rave?
Yeah.
So you guys went up and then heard about the rave and then came back?
So here's what happened.
Tell the whole story.
So...
Tell this...
There's a place... Oh, what was the name of that town? It wasn't Bernie. I'll have to remember.
Who cares?
Who gives a it'll come up on the screen after the fact. It was here.
Yes.
And we got there, or we started hiking. It was all throughout the desert, and then we get to kind of a little bit below the Bay Area, somehow below the Bay Area, before Lake Tahoe. Mm-hmm. And it was this little train station. It was just a train station in the middle of nowhere. Over this huge, like, 2,000-foot mountain, you go down, and it was this little train track next to a river. There was this big Russian river, which was awesome, and this bridge that went over it. And there was a bar right at this train station. Ooh. And that was it. There was no town. The post office was someone's house where people would send their food if they wanted to, but it was a crap place to restock your food. And we go into the bar and order a beer and pack of cigarettes or whatever. And I stopped smoking. That was after Mount Whitney. That was after Mount Whitney. I'd stopped smoking.
Well done for that. Was it just cold turkey?
Yeah.
How cold was that turkey?
Yeah, it was lukewarm.
Were you angry at all?
No,
were you furiously masturbating to cope with your
I would
sensation?
get Black and Milds when we would stop at a town every
Black and Milds
week and a half. So I would have a cigar. That was my fix. Yeah, that was my treat to like, get off the fix.
Put your finger up your.
But while hiking, no, I wouldn't have any. Anyways, we were at this bar. And we were talking to the bartender, and it was a big gold panning place. This river that went right past the train station. He had like a big thing of gold behind the bar and like his pan.
Did you steal it?
No. No, he's a nice guy.
Nice guys are easy to steal from.
He's a nice guy. And we were talking to him about bears. He was like, you guys seen any bears? And we said no. He said, oh, I saw one in the trash can. I'm right here, big boys. Didn't have any of that.
Sorry.
Anyways.
Sorry. Tell your story. It's me.
No, it's just you. Thought you were a bear.
Just me. I'm not a bear.
Anyways, he said, you guys should come back here in a week because there's going to be this big outdoor rave. It was like a house music marathon. Yeah, it was like a gathering, but it was this weird marathon where it's house music 24 hours a day for 3 days or 4 days or whatever. Weird ass idea, but people loved it. And so we were hiking with this guy. It wasn't Strider, it was something stupid.
Wave.
His name was goofy. He was like,
was it some weird trail name?
Yeah, trail name.
You give yourself a trail name.
You don't give it to yourself. Other people give it to you.
What was yours?
Zook.
Zook, that's right. Zucchini.
Yeah, zucchini.
What about Vance?
Vance. I gave him his.
Was it Jaw?
He-Man.
He-Man?
He had long blonde hair. and looked like just a flaming shower curtain. Yeah.
Flaming shower. Why wasn't his name Flaming Shower Curtain?
It should have been, looking back on it.
Oh, Flame.
No, because me and another guy would say, wow, he's so fast. He's got helium in his pack, because it would make him go up mountains.
Vance a pretty good hiker?
He was a great hiker, yeah. That kid could fly up mountains.
Like, what gives you that? Is it just... Some people just have an extra gear.
He's just a monster. I don't know.
Some people like.
I pace myself and just keep going, and he'll go really fast and just like kill himself and then stop for a little while.
Good man.
You know, and then I'll catch up.
What baffled me was when you told me you guys were separate for long stretches at a time, where I thought for protection you'd be with each other just for conversation's sake or sanity's sake, where you guys were alone, just kind of in
We had thought about that, and we had hiked together most of our childhood together, and we knew if we hiked together all day long we'd want to kill each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we would hike our own pace, because if I hiked his pace I'd be mad at him. If he hiked my pace he'd be mad at me.
Would you say you're typically slow? I mean, slower than him.
I was slower than him, yeah.
Are you slower than most, or about the mean average? Because 30 miles a day, that's hoofing.
No, yeah,
that's
I mean,
hoofing.
You're always either passing someone or someone's passing you. I mean, you're there for 4 months with the same people kind of back and forth.
Did you recognize some people?
Oh, yeah.
Or know their name? Hey, have them pass you up. Oh, what's up, Randy? How you
Totally,
doing?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, this guy Burrito.
Burrito!
Yeah, Burrito was the man. Yeah, we ran into him day probably 20 in the desert in Southern California.
Where's he from?
I have no idea.
The grill?
We don't get too close out there.
You don't know their real name just in case you die.
Exactly, yeah. But then we met back up with him in Oregon, and he stayed with us, and we got an Airbnb together. And
really?
Yeah. Then we lost him in Oregon, met back up with him in Washington. Yeah,
and you'll just come upon each other at random times.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
It's just one trail, and you pass through the same big towns, and maybe the timing works out. You try to work it out with some people. Some people do, but
do you guys say goodbye for the last time every time?
Yeah.
That's so bizarre, that kind of relationship.
Yeah. And that's your trail family for the time, and you go through like different trail families throughout the entire thing.
So cool. It's somewhat wanderlust of what's his real name? What is he about? Has he murdered people? Maybe. What if he's just like, I'm just gonna track it out, see in my refractory. Maybe he just killed somebody, and that's his refractory period retreat. I'm gonna go be amongst these people and love it. And then
I don't know how girls do it. Since Reese Without Her Spoon's book came out, it's all or not.
I could not imagine book come out. No sexist intent about it. Hand on the Bible. But for a woman to be out there by herself for months on end, when there could be any manner of fucking even for a guy there, but for whatever scumbag wants to go out there and prey on women. Trying to
and people
hike the
do
trail.
it.
That's so scary. Were you ever scared for your life when you were doing it at any time?
Not from other people. Growing up, I thought I was like a cool guy or whatever, and I didn't trust anybody, didn't trust people because people around me were shit or whatever. So I was like, all right, if I could do this trail, I gotta buy a pistol. Not for the animals, but for the creepy people.
You didn't bring a gun on this. I
did not bring a gun, and I grew up with guns. I know how to use them pretty safely and pretty well, I think, and I didn't bring one because you can't hike through Yosemite. It's an extra couple pounds. As an ultralight hiker, that's dumb.
But it's a weapon. For me, that could be the difference between life and death. When it really matters to have a gun is a lifesaver. I'd rather carry that extra weight because it's an extra security. Yeah. Just in case.
So instead of a gun, I brought bear spray. Oh. Which an ultralight hiker would laugh at me right now, saying that's something you don't use every day. There's not 2 uses for it. You can't turn it into a tent or a sleeping bag or use it for food. Right. Why even bring it? I was glad I had it, in a tent at night.
That peace of mind, I feel like, is so worth it, and it would be a completely separate podcast to have. We can have you and my buddy Matt Nevins, married to my cousin. Shout out Matt Nevins. 2 kids with my cousin.
Gross.
Oh, God. Jack and Piper.
How dare you. Piper,
yes, sir. Piper. And he loves diddling around with equipment and the innovative, just the ideas, the concepts that come behind lightweight and the utility tools that go with backpacking.
Yeah.
Most necessary. Multiple uses are just...
It's a big balancing act between
oh my God.
losing weight and having what you want and having what you need, losing some comfort versus weight. It's all comfort versus weight.
The innovative practicality, dude.
Yeah. I fucking love that innovative practicality. Dope.
Dude, big words, dude.
That's a big word.
200 points to Gryffindor. Slytherin. Look at you. You're a Slytherin. Are you a Slytherin?
You think I'm a Slytherin?
Oh, you.
My girlfriend would just love to hear you say that.
Why?
'Cause she knows that she is also a Slytherin.
I'm a Slytherin. I'm a proud Slytherin.
You are?
Yeah.
You're
you
a Hufflepuff.
No,
You're a fucking Hufflepuff, bitch.
Suck my basilisk, you son of a
Suck
bitch.
my basilisk.
Fuck. Put us to sleep.
No, I'm a Newt Scamander, whatever the fuck was.
Ew.
What?
Newt.
What?
What's that actor's name?
I have no idea. I don't care for him. But he had a bunch of animals, which is cool. Or like magical beasts.
I'm a proud Slytherin. They get hated on. Why?
Yeah, because Malfoy.
Because Malfoy, because they rich. I mean, they dickheads, but because it's
a book with Malfoy at the front and center. Who cares about the lore or background?
The lore. I'm about the lore. They're powerful. Slytherin. They're because they know they're legit.
I'm not talking about Harry Potter on this podcast.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's wait. Let me call my girlfriend.
Yeah.
She can talk for me, you know.
One more. It's a little.
Wow.
It's terrible. This is gonna get.
Oh, the content. There's no use.
The content.
You know what? I've decided that the Trial and Error podcast is and always shall be brought to you by B&D Gertz f***ing construction, dude. Because, goddamn,
is this a commercial break right now?
No commercial break. I'm just saying this is what it is. B&D Gertz.
Commercial break.
They're digging up business. They do the dirty work. Whatever kind of slogan you want to make up for them. Dirty people.
What?
Dirty results.
This is the commercial break, right?
Nah, I mean...
No, do your spiel.
No, I'm just
fine.
No, I'm just saying. I love B&D Gertz.
B&D Gertz.
They're trash.
Coming to a town near you. They're trash people.
They're in the town near you.
For your trash.
We're trash.
We're trash.
Oh, trash.
We're trash.
The things that I found out there and never
Tell me about all your sex toys that you found from a
There are sex
garbage
swings
dump
out there
and
at
brought them home.
the Yellow County landfill that I used to work at.
Actually, wait. Let me rephrase that question. What have you cleaned off and brought home?
Bradford. We're not allowed to take things home.
Oh, sorry.
There's no pillaging. People can get hurt if you're looking through trash and there's tractors coming down.
I believe it.
You can get fucking crushed.
Okay.
No toys.
So you, not on the clock, not at your family's property, just on your own. What have you found out in the world?
I have seen some things. A Beatles anthology. This massive book. I have seen a gentleman drop off so many veterinary textbooks and just mason jars filled with this and that. And
what?
Like kind of surgery utensils and stuff. It was,
oh, shit.
You find
that guy murdered someone.
Skylar found a bounce house with a working air
compressor.
The compressor, yeah. That I found. Final Cut Pro, a like $1,000 editing
Final
process.
Cut Pro.
Final Cut Pro for MacBook.
Oh my god!
It's a highly expensive movie editing software.
I've heard of it.
I've found multiple Game Boys, Game Boy Advance, SP.
That's sweet.
PSPs. I found a poker set out there. People get divorced and they just throw everything out. It's art.
Divorces. Yeah.
A fake ass. There's the sex doll. It's made out of the same silicone. It's fake.
Just slap that garbage ass.
Gross.
It's gonna throw up on there.
Slap that garbage ass.
Dirty ass.
Dirty. Can't get enough of it, this ass.
Gotta love divorces.
Oh, man. Solving all of life's problems. 2/3 of every marriage. Is it 2/3? The odds are against us. If you get married, you're screwed.
I think it was just more than 50%, wasn't it? I don't know.
What happened to us?
Whatever makes people happy.
Didn't walk the PCT. That's what. What did that experience do for you?
So everyone asks. I did classes and talks and whatever after the the stroll.
Are you you better than me?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Well, no, but people ask, people ask, like, what was your realization, or why'd you hike it? Was there something wrong? Were you hooked on heroin, like that book? And no, Vance and I just went to go hike.
We went to go for a long hike and escape reality.
We went to be homeless for a while.
How was homelessness?
It was great. It was great.
Oh.
Yeah, it was great. Trump was running for president, and I didn't hear a word about it.
Oh my God, you don't have to deal
months.
with people's nonsense.
Yeah.
I love it.
Which was weird. It was weird being homeless. The weirdest part was it was a selfish thing. You know, Vance and I thought, I'm using all my money, I'm dropping out of society, I'm gonna go do something for myself.
How is that selfish?
Because it's for me.
That
you
is absolutely necessary.
I'm ditching my girlfriend, I'm ditching my family, I'm ditching my job. I'm gonna go do this and, you know, the world. I'm gonna go make some, you know,
Did you have to deflate your balls while you guys were hiking? Because that takes a lot of courage to uproot and say, hey, I'm going to do me for 6 months possibly. But that takes a lot to have the means to do that, to have the courage to say... people would say that's career suicide.
It totally is.
But it's just because you're scared and think that's career suicide doesn't mean somebody can't remedy whatever your experience is. You have so much leverage now and so much more... authenticity when you speak it, because you've been a speaker for so many of these outdoor like stores and enterprises or events. Like, they hear about you. Does your name carry weight around these stores and shit?
No, of course not.
But you're able to teach people. You're able to impart your knowledge for a reason.
Yeah, which is
if you're full of sniff you out there, son.
Well, yeah, if you did a class called Hiking the PCT and haven't hiked the PCT, that'd be pretty obvious, I would think. What was I talking about?
Oh, my God. Okay. Your balls are swollen because of your knowledge.
So this was the weirdest thing, talking to people about that. Like, all the people on trail, all of our trail family were just a bunch of homeless bums comparing gear.
Trail family.
Yeah, a bunch of gearheads just thinking that we have to survive till tomorrow and maybe get to Mexico or maybe get to Canada one day. But the real thing was our next gear drop. You know, we're on the trail for the next 7 or 10 days with no food.
What are those trail scumbags called? Those people that go and thieve the free food.
Oh,
and all the
man,
treats.
I call them the gypsies.
Cocksuckers.
Yeah, it's worse now. But okay, so anyways, wait. Let me finish the story before I forget.
Okay, bro.
So it was a selfish thing, but people would want to do. Were you just trying to light that pen?
No, that was my thumb. That was my thumb.
Oh my God. Anyways, so the whole concept of trail angels and trail. Stop lighting that. Burning that pen. Anyway, okay. God damn it. Long story short, the concept of trail angels is weird because we're doing a selfish thing by dropping out of society, and yet people want to help us in really generous and really like amazing ways.
Right.
So it just fills you with this weird feeling of like, people are so good. They're going to take time out of their days to give us beer or burgers or weed or want to bring us into their houses or lend us their car for the weekend. Which
did you stay at random person? Hey, use my car.
Yeah.
You could have just drove off with it.
Mama Bear in Tehachapi, California. That was the trail name that we gave her.
Wow.
Vance and I just got off the trail. This lady picks us up. This mom picks us up. And she liked Vance and I for some reason. And we go back to her place of work, and she invites us. How does this go? She gives us her car.
You guys have a sexual encounter.
No, there's no sex at all. No, she's just so genuine and just loves hearing our stories and loves talking to genuine people.
You're not the first person she's helped out on.
No, she's done this for years.
Yeah. I can imagine that's somebody who's comfortable and understands the culture.
And she recently just stopped doing it because people are so
yeah.
Never sucks. But she lent us her car to shuttle hikers from the trailhead to the store or to the hostel or to the airport where they were staying in Tehachapi.
Jesus.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
She brought us into her home, and we made like 60 burgers for all the hikers who were staying at the airport.
So you guys helped her help other hikers.
Yeah.
You guys
it was her trail magic that she was doing. And she let us into it. And we met her husband and her kids, and they all helped hand out burgers to dirty ass hikers. Wow. So cool. I was like, all right.
That's so sick.
Yeah, so the whole trail angel thing just really filled me with like people are actually some people are good. Some people are good.
And there's people that usurp it, of course.
Totally.
That's humans.
There's plenty of but some people.
It's just I would it just sucks that there are people out there that would take advantage of that. And it for them they're probably, like her especially, is living vicariously through you, that has the courage to take this. I feel like selfish gets a bad rep because there is selfish in the terms of the people that would take advantage of that family, eat the burgers and take the car, maybe steal it, do whatever. Mm-hmm. It's that really sucks, where selfishness in terms of, you know, being single, self-realizing and working on yourself, selfish isn't inherently a bad thing. I don't think.
I see what you're saying.
It's like this is your journey. This is Brad's life in every sense of the word. This is my life in every sense of what I'm trying to do. Right, hike, outdoors, whatever it is. It's selfish. I mean, when there's somebody else in your life, it can be seen as selfish to a certain extent, but when it's for your realization, reaching your goal, I don't see that as such a bad thing.
Okay. And so I guess what I kind of heard in the background was like, if people can see that it's genuine, if you're genuinely trying to help yourself, even if it is a selfish way, it's still a good thing. But if you're doing it for like to steal someone's car, or to like monetary gain, that's selfish and like being a dirtbag.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's what the gypsy crew did. That's what I call them, was the gypsy crew.
Gypsies.
So they would hitchhike from town to town, never actually hike on the trail, claim to be hikers, and they would just ride in cars from one trail magic town to the next trail magic town, say they're hikers, stay at people's houses.
Is that the vernacular magic towns for hikers?
No, I just made that up.
I love that, though.
It was trail magic. So trail angels do trail magic at towns.
Trail angels. There's good people out there, but they know they're along the PCT, helping out.
And a lot of those towns, you know, rely on hikers.
I bet they wouldn't do it if the majority of people they interacted with were pieces of shit.
Right.
So that gives me hope that it just sucks that those bad apples just kind of slog the progress that is the positivity and the spirit of everybody doing it for one reason or another. It sucks that people do quit, though. When you say going into South Lake Tahoe, that temptation just to stop.
It's all a mind game.
It really is. The marathon is just one day. You endured months of a slow slog. What was that? Did you have a mantra you were telling yourself? I mean, you've been hiking before that, maybe for a couple days, hiking outside, but this was prolonged. I mean, did you ever doubt the planning that went into it? Am I not going to get enough food? Am I just going to give up here? Can I just give up here? Is this a great spot to give up? I mean, I believe I'll look back 60 years from now and as an old man, I made it halfway through the PCT. I didn't finish it because I was a pussy. There's got to be some kind of driving force behind you, some kind of madness.
I met a lot of guys who said, I did half of this trail 30 years ago, and I'm back now to do the rest of it.
Really?
Yeah. Which is like, dude, you got to do it, but they're hurting, you know?
I'm listening. Emotionally, right? Like, they should have done it the first time.
Yeah. No, they feel for, like, back in the good old day, you know? Yeah. They should have done it. And people get sick or injured or get, you know, giardia or some kind of thing that gets them off the trail, and it's a huge bummer. Yeah. The guy that I went... So you have to take a bus from San Diego to the border of Mexico and California. It's this town called Campo, California, and the bus has to go to Campo. And the guy that we were with in the bus was like this jacked SAS military, you know...
The Brit?
Yeah, British military dude.
Really?
Yeah. And he had all the Under Armour gear and everything, and I'm all fat, and I'm like 30 pounds overweight with a six-pack, or with a, not a six-pack, a fucking beer belly. And I'm like, I'm going to die. This guy's going to kill me. And, you know, first hour, he's going to be 30 miles above me, or ahead of me. Fast forward 4 months, Vance and I see the same guy who was in the bus ride to the border, probably 3 or 4 days before we reached the border of Canada. So it's been 4 months. We don't see him. We see him the first day. We see him almost the last day. He had to get off for 2 months because he got like Lyme's disease or something. He got a bad tick thing.
Jesus.
And he was so mad. So he had to get off trail mid-California. He had to jump back onto trail from people do flip-flops or yo-yos or some kind of way to make it work. He had to get back on in Canada and go south. And I was like, man, that's
so much. That's an insane.
I was so lucky to have gone just a straight route up and not have
You
to
got
off.
trench foot though. Why didn't you stop? You all right? Trench foot. You're gonna dive. You got that in the trench in 1916.
I was lucky it didn't get infected. It wasn't actual like gangrene trench foot. It's just all the skin and fell off my feet.
No big deal. You're bare boned. Who cares?
Yeah, muscles. It was gross.
What? Okay. What happened? How did trench foot is just your skin, your flesh is falling off your foot.
If I can get a little gearhead here and talk about gear. I'm a big fan of footwear.
Stare in the camera when you're talking.
I'm a big fan of footwear.
Oh, you suck toes.
Go to my channel, Brad. What's a good channel name? Brad's Rad Shoes.
Brad's Rad Shoes. Brad's poop shoes.
Brad poo poo shoes.
Brad's poo shoes. No.
So the whole idea, gear-wise, the whole idea with an ultralight loadout is to get really lightweight stuff, so people hike and backpack in trail running shoes instead of actual hiking boots, big, heavy hiking boots. So I had trail runners, and I thought, for some stupid reason, I thought waterproof shoes were a good idea to go through the Sierras, which were covered in snow. 2016 was a heavy snow year. Packed in snow, we're post-holing every single step throughout the Sierras.
It was deep snow.
It was deep snow, yeah. You're crushing through ice into rivers underneath you.
Is your morale not depleted?
It was so much fun.
It's fun.
It's gorgeous. It was so gorgeous.
But your feet have to be numb.
I mean, if they're numb, they're fine.
But that's not good. If they're numb, you're gonna die. No, that just sounds like you're gonna die. Frostbite.
Well, no. I mean, you're moving.
Don't you have to have like a fire?
No. It's amazing. So growing up in Scouts, that's how I thought, get the big, heavy, waterproof stuff. Hopefully you'll survive. If you get wet, you're dead.
Yes, you're dead.
Ultralight backpacking is like you're running through any situation and coming out the other side alive. It's the coolest feeling.
But your feet are numb. Isn't that a bad sign for frostbite?
No, you keep moving. You're exerting energy and heat. If you have enough food, you melt all that off. It's
so the numbness
so cool.
doesn't matter. Like, when does the numbness matter if you're moving?
If you get frostbite, if you stop and if you stop exerting energy, if you stop burning fats, if you stop eating, and your body starts eating your own fats and your own muscle, then you die.
So if you keep moving, the numbness shouldn't matter. Yeah, that just means it's cold. But if you're moving, your blood's circulating. You're good.
It was the coolest feeling.
So frostbite is the lazy man's disease.
I was in Washington in waist deep snow in shorts, running shorts, trail runners, and a short sleeve t-shirt.
How are you in a short?
Booking it, and you're fine. You hike 30 miles, you get out of the snow eventually.
It's not waist deep the entire time.
No,
you're in shorts and you're just...
Yeah, it's the coolest feeling.
What the f*** is this nonsense? Who are you?
Yeah, you're not snow camping. You're not staying like on the top of this peak.
God.
You're going over the peak, hitting some real weather, some real nasty stuff, getting over it, and coming out the other side that night 30 miles away. Okay.
Did you run into any trail wenches and have a torrid love affair?
No, I had a girlfriend at the time.
But were there trail wenches?
Yeah, I heard stories. There were stories.
I'm a trail wench. Like, hey.
Trail wench over here. No, Vance saw a girl taking nude photos once. We went through a bunch of nude
colonies,
hot springs, which were cool.
Hot springs.
You could just look, and no one wants to get with you. You're disgusting.
Wow.
You guys had some disgusting Amish beards, though. If you could pull up pictures of you and your brother.
Pull up a picture of our beards. It's disgusting.
You're going to have to show your phone to the
I'll send them to you. And you can stick it in the editing. You can see here how Aaron put this picture of us after the fact.
Right here in my head.
Right here in my head.
I could put a blurred dick on your head.
I can pull up a picture.
God, it takes so long though to edit this shit on iMovie.
I can't imagine. You use iMovie?
iMovie, it's disgusting.
What happened to the Final Cut Pro you found in the garbage?
Final Cut gone.
Oh, good
It just
God.
takes forever. So what happens is, so I'll record it on GarageBand, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to fix it yet, but if anybody can help me with this problem, I have the separate video that I'm recording on my phone right here, right? And when I try to sync, the MP3 with the
the clap thing that people do.
What clap thing?
You clap to sync the video and the audio, so you can like get it right at the
Well,
clap.
we didn't do that. But what happens is, throughout the video and the audio, the video kind of slows down to it gets slogged with the frame rate. So I have to go every so often and kind of trim the audio a little bit so the lips match what I'm saying in the video. It's irritating as because it's not synchronized right now.
Yeah, it sounds like
It makes 0 cents.
I
$0.
didn't understand a word you just said.
0 cents. It sucks. The audio keeps going, it's true, and the video slows down, and I have to edit it, excuse me, all the way through so the words match.
That's Vance and I on the border.
Get over there!
On the border of fucking...
God, you hairy f***ing assholes. Look at you.
I can't see that.
Hold on. I have an idea. Hold on.
See the beard, but
Hold on.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, don't tap your phone. Tap it again. Keep tapping it.
I'll tap your phone.
Oh. Yeah, my phone. God, look at you.
That's the border of Oregon and California.
If you're on iTunes right now, you. You can't see anything. You're a listening spool.
Yeah, Oregon and California. That was still like a month or two before we finished.
God. Why the Amish beards? Can you imagine having sex
That's
with
my
that? Can you
dad.
imagine having sex with that?
No, I don't know how people do it. It's disgusting.
Amish
What's wrong with you?
beards. Uh-oh.
Desperate
Oh,
women.
fuck. Screensaver.
Oh, the women. The desperate, desperate women after this.
The wild women.
Amish
the wild
beard.
Women. Why would you want an Amish beard?
I didn't ask for this Amish beard.
I got a question for you. We're over an hour in. We're
Really?
getting to question number 1, Bradford. We're going to go for the record. We're going to go for the longest podcast.
We haven't broken
to
in the
date.
whiskey yet.
We haven't broken into the whiskey. Show Wild Turkey. Check it out.
We accidentally drank most of it last night.
What's the alcohol content by volume?
I think it's just 40.
Just
40.5.
0.5?
40.5.
Fuck, dude, that's going to take me over the edge.
There's also Wild Turkey 101, which sounds disgusting.
101.
Just gnarly ass Wild Turkey. But this is class. This is good.
That's class whiskey.
It's a sipping whiskey.
Ship and wish.
This ain't no like.
This isn't your dad's whiskey.
This ain't your dad's whiskey.
My dad's whiskey. Actually, he loves it. My dad's a lightweight, though.
I was gonna say this
So
ain't
is my
your
mother.
college. Oh yeah.
My parents.
My parents are so funny when they're drunk.
Really?
They're
I feel like some folks can just
They're so funny.
handle it.
They're so funny.
They love playing their card games, don't they?
Yes.
Bradford and Stephanie.
Yes.
How does it feel being the number 2 compared to Brad number 1?
I'll always be in someone's shadow.
Do you ever call him number 1?
Oh, that's a good idea. No,
Hey, number 1.
Number 1? Number 1?
Never got to hear Picard tell Riker call him number 1.
They didn't talk much. It was mostly Will Wheaton today.
Will Wheaton. That was a very Wesley episode. He
I
wasn't
watched
in that
my
show
first
for-
episode of Star Trek today.
First episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. If you're not about it, then you. It is so good. I'm gonna have a Star Trek centric episode coming up here in the future, but
It was good if you're in
Not
the
now.
right mood for something kind of classic and a
it's
little
wacky.
retro.
It's its
Yeah.
own sort of
Scientific and
wacky.
old
It's its
school.
own flavor.
Yeah. I did like that Black Mirror episode of Star Trek.
Black Mirror was
That old-
so good,
So good.
so fucking high.
And let's do a quick shout out to
Quick shout out.
Love, Death, and Robots or
Love,
whatever.
Death, and Robots! Let's go,
Death,
Netflix!
Love, and
My
Robots.
favorite one is probably the Beasties.
First one I put on for
Beasties
you.
was so good. There's alright on Netflix. Love, Death, and Robots. There's
what it was.
boobies. There's different mediums of animation. There's
Every episode is a
storytelling.
different style of animation.
It
So
is
good.
a very much 2020 version of the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Very in animated fashion.
Yeah.
Sexy. Happening
Happening.
now. Ahora mismo.
I mean, it's from 2019, but
2019.
good shit.
2020. 2019.
Fuck.
Fuck 2020.
Let's just stay in 2019 for a while.
Let's just kind of live in the past
Yeah.
the way we should.
I'm fine with that.
Here's a question for you. In Pizza We Crust.
That's a good
sir.
lighter.
How detrimental is humans' disconnect with nature? We are in the head right now. Look what's happening to society. Yeah. We are systematically imploding.
It's kind of the most important thing.
It is disgusting what's going on right now. We're stuck in our cities. We're stuck in our Boise's. And it's just sucks when I see kids. When I was jogging around the track the other day in Winters in town, and I see a mom there. I go to get some water, and I see what I assume to be her son behind the bleachers on it looks like a switch. He's playing games with the sunshine beaming down upon us, and this little fucker's playing video games in my sight. What the hell? What's going on? Nature, I mean, just being present in general, right? Yeah. Being present, I feel like, is very...
Honestly,
is being part of nature, to be present, and being part of nature and relaxing.
Honestly, I don't have a problem with people doing their own thing. You know,
But I do.
If you want to ignore the nature that you're put in and play your video games, so be it. You're not going to be on the trail that I'm on, so that's one less person that...
It's okay that they're doing that?
Yeah,
Brad, that's what cities are for. How will they learn to be like us if we don't force them to be like us?
I don't want them to be like us.
Press our ideals upon them.
I like not seeing people out on the trails that I'm hiking on, and I don't want that shitty kid or those shitty people who would, litter on the streets to be littering out on the trails. So let them stay on the streets.
You salty.
Is that a salty take?
You salty son of a bitch.
I don't feel like that's a salty take.
It would suck. All right,
if they're gonna be miserable out in the woods, let them stay.
Here's what's up. Beware what you wish for. I want people to be more connected with nature because it's so when I look to my left, when we used to be able to go to restaurants and see a family of 4 or 4 kids, whatever, everybody present at the table or the booth is on their phone, not talking to each other. That bothers me to the
Does it?
Up to the degree. It really upsets me.
I was raised definitely differently. We obviously didn't have cell phones growing up, but the family dinner style was every single night. We'd never broke it. We couldn't eat it in our rooms even. So I think that's important. I mean, I'm not a great role model in the least. I didn't turn out amazing, but I think
an outstanding piece of shit.
I think my family has a good structure, so I'll praise my folks for that.
Some people fall through the cracks.
Me. You're the black sheep.
Sack of wine.
I'm a sack of wine.
Man, nobody wants to buy your wool. To be the black sheep. I feel like I'm rather the black sheep as well. So.
Really?
Little Keith and Skylar humming along.
What's Keith up to these days?
He's working at the landfill. He's doing his thing.
You're doing your thing.
Yeah,
how are you the black sheep? You're doing your thing. Would you say Skylar ain't?
Skylar ain't
shit.
Son of a bitch.
Is he?
God damn it, he's making his money. God damn it, he's making his money.
What's he doing? I don't even know.
He's working at the landfill.
Oh. Well, okay.
You make money in the goddamn landfill.
Okay, they're making money, but you're doing something different.
I have to. I must. I am compelled.
Yeah.
Compelled to do, not out of spite, not out of...
Let it be out of spite.
People could see me. Oh, Aaron's different. No, fuck that. I can't do that. I can't settle. That's a safety net.
Well, I don't think anyone's thinking that.
To go down into the landfill. For me, it's the safety net.
No, that's good.
I have to do something different.
Good.
And that's why I'm doing it.
You're lucky to have a safety net. Fucking take it. Do your thing. Yeah.
That safety net has... I've bounced out of life and go back.
You have.
It's bounced me back into the real world plenty of times.
Nothing wrong with that.
I am so fucking lucky to have a job to caress me just in case, or even in summertime, anything like that. And I had no spring break. I wish I went to Lake Havasu. I wish I went to Cancun and had grew a set of balls and said, no, I'm going to spend some money and go down there to that orgy that is Mexico. Cacti.
Welcome back to White Privilege, the podcast.
White Privilege, the podcast. Indeed. Howloo.
No, man, you're doing it right. You
got it.
Nothing wrong with the safety net.
I 110% acknowledge that I have been dealt an unbelievable hand. Better hand than most.
Yeah. Totally. My folks did an awesome job.
I ain't sorry for it.
I mean, how many people can say their folks are still together? We're both lucky in that weird aspect.
I've never been abused. We are so lucky to have this relative. I've never been abused. No verbal or physical abuse. Like, could you imagine going through life and being a success, having that mental capacity to overcome the abuse that you faced, and be like, you know what, I will never allow this to happen to my child or whatever. Or perpetuate, you do it yourself. Yeah.
There is something there, though. A lot of I don't know how to say this correctly, but a lot of very successful and kick-ass people have risen up from being abused or really shitty circumstances.
Perhaps it begets the best of them.
Yeah. They've got something to prove.
Yes. They've
got a lot to prove. They have to beat the kids that have everything or have both parents or are white to become the best. Yes. So more power to them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anybody that rises through this.
I respect the hustle.
I love
I'm your huckleberry.
More than ever seeing when people poo-poo on the on athletes or whatever. A lot of what I love about sports, we differ.
We do differ on sports a little bit,
but more so, how it captivates people are the athletes themselves. There's a dude, Patrick Willis, comes from a small town in the South, a single father, and he is one of 9 kids, what have you. Poor situation, could have easily joined a gang, fallen into the crime life, just works his ass off, becomes a professional athlete, and then retires in due time, way into his prime. He's in his prime, way into the beginning of his prime. He could still easily be playing and whooping ass.
That's probably doesn't.
He retires because he's a defensive linebacker. He's a linebacker, and he
sounds like a smart guy.
Very smart guy. And that's why it's hard for me to sympathize with these knuckleheads that come up, because Patrick Willis did it. Why can't other people come through with the same vigor and emotional maturity that he has to give back, to keep going?
That's a great question.
Why not? Why not everybody? Some people take it for granted and they just ball out. Have your riches. If you earn it, like, I will never fault somebody for making their money. But have that emotional maturity to show kids that look up to you, not like Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown's sorry. There's a certain wide receiver that's just lost his mind.
Yeah.
But you have to realize you have a certain responsibility to those who look up to you. A lot of kids.
Was it Charles Barkley that said, "I don't play for the kids," though? Didn't someone say, like, "I'll do whatever the I want"?
I'm not sure. There's people that have that mindset where
they
don't
give
give
Charles Barkley. Like, I'm just living my life and doing my thing. I'm not a role model.
And that's the thing. They have that right to say, I'm just going to do me. I don't give a damn. I just want to win.
Yeah.
And if upsetting kids is
so P. Willis is a great example of how you're supposed to do it, I think. Mm-hmm. I feel like 95% of the people that I hear about from sports, I don't follow sports at all.
Yes.
Are the opposite, and they get really rich really fast right out of high school and get DUIs and kill people.
That's not good. No, it's no bueno, Bradford.
Play with their money and beat women and don't mature at all. They don't.
It happens.
They almost can't mature.
There are some extreme few. A lot of professional athletes, you never really hear about them. They're there. They go about their lives.
Totally.
There are some exceptional assholes because they're actually
exceptional assholes.
They're actually good. Take Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah,
that's the name that transcends sports.
Yeah,
that guy. Did you see it? You saw his Netflix.
Yeah.
Killing people for spilling drinks.
Straight up killing people.
Naughty.
Blamed it on being gay. But what kind of weird ass culture? Weird ass culture gives kids all this freedom and money. I don't know.
It was wild.
It leads into some weird race things too.
How so?
All these pro athletes, when their kids get busted for selling crack.
Right.
I listen to Crime and Sports
podcast.
James Patrick Allo and Jimmy Wispa do a great job explaining all this stuff, but it's like, as a kid, a black kid will get stopped selling crack or whatever and do the community service or do the whatever kids have to do.
Sure.
And then as an adult, they'll start to actually do time until they're recognized, until they do come out as a professional athlete. Then they start getting stopped doing the same bullshit activities because they didn't change for some reason. And same goes for white people. It doesn't change for doing their same, bullshit, being their wives or whatever these crazy athletes are doing. But once the cops are pulling over like a nice car and they recognize that face, they'll let them go. So
that a couple times.
So all these athletes that do get caught for 1 DUI means they were probably let go for 3 or 4 until they kill somebody.
Who knows?
So there's some sort of weird thing for famous people on top of all this.
If they're recognized, I mean, who knows how many cops have been paid off? It's like, oh my God, this is.
I don't even think it's paying them off. I think it's like, wow, I'm in the space of greatness. Like, please move along, sir.
Move along. I don't want to
remember my name because I'm letting you go. That probably happens.
Say my name
all the time for them.
It's
till they mow over.
That's wild. That there's this dude that used to play for the Kings, Bobby Hurley, and I shift the conversation because these people seem larger than life, right? These athletes that have millions of dollars, they can get out of DUIs, that when they are in trouble, say an OJ, that is a cultural explosion, the OJ trial, because it came at such a pivotal time with Rodney King just came out, so it was very much white versus black versus white, kind of like now. But athletes are very much human. So this one 30 for 30 I saw on ESPN, and why another reason I find sports so captivating is they are in fact still human. They up, and
they do.
This dude Bobby Hurley used to play for the Kings. This guy, he was in college. He was a stud. He went hard. He had a great projection. Had a great rookie season. Leaving a game one night after about 15 games in, gets crushed by a car as he's driving. Like T-bone flies out of his car, and he's inside this ditch in Sacramento. One of his teammates comes up or whatever, and he's just ruined. Dies like once or twice. I think he dies on the operation table, but he survives, and he comes back. I'm not sure how long later. Not the same. Who knows what kind of career he would have had.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But it's the human element of sports, because at the end of the day, it is humans that are playing sports. It is humans that are hiking the PCT, humans that are doing these ultra marathons, because they are humans. They're us. It's the 500-pound fat on the sofa watching these incredible feats that know that they're capable of that same glory. Some people more so than others that are just naturally gifted. They can't do that, but everybody's capable of achieving their own glory, their own personal glory, and all that. That's why sports.
That's a good in defense of sports.
I could try to pull you into the sports sphere.
I don't care.
I feel like, but hiking in itself and the endurance of hiking, I'd say in marathon running are
the ultra marathons. I have utmost respect for those maniacs.
I feel like those are more related than say traditional basketball, football, baseball, what have you.
But hiking, I wasn't raised with those guys as my heroes.
Right,
right. I feel like a lot of pro athletes who maybe have been raised without a father look up to sports legends as a father figure, and they in turn become the sports legends that they're always destined to be.
The benchmarks of what to achieve.
Yeah,
it's these sports icons that
it's the only man in their existence that the only father figure really is.
Even with the father,
who they see on TV.
You can look up to these sports. They're another hero. You have He-Man, you have Superman, you have Batman, you have Goku.
But who's realistic?
But then you have Barry Bonds.
Yeah,
Then you have these other real life heroes. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
The Rock, whatever.
All it takes is steroids.
It just takes steroids, and you're a super duper human.
Barry Bonds, wasn't he an asshole?
Douchebag.
I heard he was like the biggest douchebag.
That's why he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, that was the last Giants game I went to. This lady behind me was just yelling Barry at Barry Bonds. It drove me nuts.
As a Giants fan, there's nothing more. No, I hate the Dodgers. I hate Dodgers fans.
Of course,
I hate all the Dodgers
naturally,
except for Clayton Kershaw. No, there's some players that are. All right, the players themselves, whatever. But it's the Dodgers fans that I hate.
See this weird hatred from fan to
hate them, but I can also
so
see.
Bizarre.
But as
you both like sports,
Giants fan, we love the sports.
Yeah.
As a Giants fan, objectively, I look at Giants fans and find them the most annoying pieces of shit on God's green earth because they're rich Bay Area and now, goddamn it, they have 3 rings,
and you're a Giants fan.
And I'm just like, God, they're just getting drunk and they just don't know the game. They don't get it. They're just douchebag, but I guess they're my douchebags because I'm a fan too.
My girlfriend's an A's fan, and I've been to probably 10 or 11 A's games, and they all suck too.
It's just having
but
awareness.
I think that's just because I think people suck.
People really do,
especially big congregations of people, like at sports
games.
At sports games, for instance.
But at the same time, sports do.
But yeah,
it's
I get it.
I went to one Giants playoff game before I jumped in McCovey Cove. It was before that. Maybe it was before that game, or maybe after that game. No, it was a different game, but a game of significance, and it was hours after the game ended, and we were on the maybe 50 yards away across the cove, just kind of chilling by the parking lot. You could feel the electricity in the air. You can feel the presence that was that moment, that game, because it is important to the teams and important to the fans that are there. They generate an energy that resonates. It sits there.
Yeah,
it's wild, and that's why sports, because of the emotional pull it has, when you invest yourself, you have to allow yourself to invest yourself in it.
Yeah.
And there's different types of sports, and I get if you're not into traditional sports and what douchiness it invokes, which is major.
It is a lot, yeah.
But I have so much more respect since I started running for endurance sports, for the obscure. If there was an Olympic sport for hiking, that would be PCT/Appalachian. That would take months to Olympus-thize what you could do. If so, how much further could you have hiked? Say it's PCT, which is how many miles?
3,260, is that right?
3,260.
Yeah.
And say, hey, keep going until you quit. If hiking was an Olympic sport, you as a hiker, how do you quantify hiking?
So there was one guy called Legend who did the hike with us. He passed us in 2016, and what he did. So there's something called the Triple Crown.
You met him?
I didn't meet him. He ran past me. There's the guy from not Man vs. Wild. Was it Man vs. Wild? No. The one with the
Survivor Man.
No, there's one with the barefoot guy and the Navy SEAL, and they both go out.
Oh yeah, Dual Survivor.
Dual Survivor, yeah. I met one of the Navy SEALs that was on that show.
Really?
Yeah, he was just ultra marathoning through and just stopped right next to us and had a drink or drank some water next to us. And we talked to him. He was like, "Aren't you on fucking?"
What'd he say?
He's like, "Yeah, I was on Dual Survivor and did all this stuff with Cody." Who's Cody?
His name was Cody.
Yeah. He was
he's the barefoot guy.
No,
the hippie.
No,
the other guy.
It was the military guy who was with one of the barefoot dudes.
Whoa!
He was like,
it's just those two.
Yeah, so it was the military guy that I met, and he was like, yeah, I did this trail 20 years ago, and I ended over there, and now I'm running the rest of it right now. I was like, dude, fuck you, you're awesome.
That's so cool.
What was
just
your
by
question?
himself.
Yeah, he's just by himself. Shirtless
if you were to...
okay, so there's this guy named Legend who...
Go for it. Go for it.
There's something called the Triple Crown, which is the PCT, the CDT, then the AT, the Pacific Crest Trail, the Continental Divide Trail, then the Appalachian Trail. So one on the West Coast, one on the going through the middle of the country, and one on the East Coast. He went up the Pacific Crest Trail, down the Continental Divide Trail, and up the Appalachian Trail. So a big sideways S, continuously. So boom, boom, boom around the country. And that was the craziest thing anyone's ever done. That would be probably the Olympics of hiking, I would say.
But that would take way longer than what the Olympics... They would have to start before the Olympics and then end...
Oh, well, yeah. Well, it wouldn't be somewhere in the Olympics.
But, but that is such...
His homage video after he died would be in there.
It's... The sports that are in the Olympics are so... quick to decide who's the best, and that doesn't demean what that takes.
Yeah,
there's marathons that happen in the Olympics.
There's no way to Olympicize.
How do you Olympicize a hike? The hundreds of miles that athletes, the mental endurance can take thousands of miles.
I don't know if you can, because it's not a physical. It's not like a tweaking a movement type of thing like the Olympics does.
How ballsy can you survive?
It's like how long can you stay in ice cold water?
That would have to take.
It's that kind of sport.
There's also that. There's the trials. It's almost like a Hunger Games type situation. How do you decide an Alaskan man and a Siberian man or a man from the Sahara their endurance, what they can do, is.
I don't think you can.
How do you calculate that?
I don't think you can.
That's
because it is person to person, but it's a different animal. It's so mental. It's so in your head.
Survive. Say to hunt. Say, okay, two of you, say an American, Russian. Say we're in the 80s. Survive in the Yukon. Whoever survives longer. 500 years later, these two guys are just hunting together, banging they found each other. They're banging, of course. And
adorable.
That's a movie. It's just who can survive longer. That is, I don't want to say it's athleticism, but just because the hiking and the say running, but I'd say more so hiking and outdoor endurance is more connected to the survival instinct than say actual sports, which is kill or be killed, win.
Totally.
But what the survival instinct is more of a slow burn. It's something that can transcend just an immediate
in
reward.
That point, if we're bringing survival into it, it's not just hiking all day. It's still being able to set up your tent and make a fire and cook and set up food drops and be able to actually survive. To be able to tape your feet up every morning for 2 weeks before you can get help.
Were there days you didn't want to set up a camp and I'm just going to sleep on the rock?
Oh, totally. Yeah, you'd cowboy camp. That was cowboy camping. You just leave your tent in your pack and throw it down.
Is there a certain say you have a little tube, just a scent that kind of wears off animals, or
no?
You could just wake up. No. This bear is eating my leg. No, whatever.
We smell like straight ass, but we smell like human ass. No animal wants to be next to a human.
Really?
They've
nothing in the wild to know this smell means death.
Oh yeah.
Really?
I don't know about death, but it's something weird, and my ancestors or parents got killed by these. Let's stay the
speaking to me right now.
Yeah.
Do animals have a connection with their ancestors?
With their ancestors?
Yeah.
Yo, totally. 100%.
Speak about that.
That's proven.
I gotta take a piss.
That's totally proven.
I gotta go pee, Brad.
I have to pee too.
You go pee first.
Yeah, you see animals getting out of the womb and doing things,
Giraffes get up and run 5 seconds out of the twat.
Yeah, but every animal does something crazy. Aaron just shot his pants, everybody. There it is in his hands.
All right. I 100% believe animals are more connected with the
obviously they are. Humans. It's only humans that are taken out of the animal kingdom. Everything else is part of the animal.
Can you also speak? I don't know what to rant about while you're taking a piss. So I want you to talk about the animals and the spirit realm.
I've got a good spirit story. No, that's stupid.
Talk spirits. Animals are more connected to the
wild.
Nature.
Yeah.
There's so much. They are nature. Animals are nature. Why aren't we?
We were once.
We were once.
Our brains are too big, and we got out of it.
Why?
Because we made cities. We got away from nature. We became comfortable in our houses. You are the worst with that.
Is it good? Can you see yourself?
Yeah, that's good.
Cool.
Oh, look at my dick. I should get more drinks out of here.
Brad, I'm piddling.
Piddle away, my dude.
Yeah, talk about your animals. Spirits.
I don't know.
Spirit animals. What's your spirit animal?
Spirit animal. Hope y'all can hear that. Aaron's peeing, asking me questions.
I'm a blue jay.
You're a blue jay?
Yeah.
That's too bad.
No, it's not.
Blue jay, the f***.
Since you're at your cabin,
Yeah.
I see blue jays everywhere now that I'm a blue jay.
I feel like you see scrub jays.
No.
I think they're different.
No.
Do we even have blue jays in California?
Yes.
I think they're scrub jays.
No.
Yeah. I'm a jackrabbit.
No, you're not.
I am.
Oh.
Like one. Yeah. I'm that quick, baby. Woo!
Give me the butter, baby. Give me the butter.
Pass me the butter, baby.
Jackrabbit. That's what you saw in your cabin?
Yeah, so, well, it wasn't at my cabin. So at the ranch, we go out on our 13th birthday and have to stay overnight by ourselves and survive, And the first animal that you see when you wake up by yourself, wherever you are in the woods, is your spirit animal. So I went out. I was all about this. My dad and I came up with the idea. We went to Alaska and we heard all about the Inuits. And that was how the Alaskan Inuits would do their thing. But it was like a week-long journey that they would do. And they would see an animal and make a bond with them over the week. We didn't have a week. We were kids in middle school. So we did an overnight. You know, the kid would go out by themselves, have their own little journey, whatever. Wake up in the morning. First animal they saw in the morning was their spirit animal. I went up on our mountain and had a nice time, made a little fire, hiked all day, and, you know, had my little spot. Woke up, and there was a jackrabbit right in front of my face. Like, I opened my eyes, and this thing is right in front of me. And I brought my 22 caliber rifle. And first thing I thought was, I gotta shoot this thing. Like, it's food right in front of me. So I grabbed my rifle, and I started chasing it and trying to kill it, which is kind of, you know, kind of fuck my spirit. I wasn't thinking spirit animal. I was just wanting to kill this thing. Maybe that you're spirit animal. Because I'm a monster. You're a monster. I didn't kill it. It got away. And then I realized afterwards, and I had a little introspective moment. I was like, I just killed my spirit animal. Jesus Christ. That would have been bad. That's not how the Inuits did it.
My spirit, I must kill my own spirit.
I must kill my spirit.
Hold
on. Now I gotta piss.
Oh, please. Go pee. What am I going to talk about?
You lose. Good day, sir.
Sing a song.
Sing a song.
If I were the king of the forest. Man, what is something what can I rant about? Fuck. As an outdoorsman, he doesn't like sports. Why doesn't he like sports? When people say they don't like sports, I don't know. Is there a factor in people that is not inherently competitive? Is competitiveness associated with survival in terms of you win, you live, you lose, you die? I feel like it is a subsequent result of that competitiveness in people. Are more competitive people, were their ancestors more dominant, more killing cunning? I know.
Idiot.
Are there competitive people that just suck at life? Sure. There's degenerate gamblers. They just keep losing. Maybe they just wanted to win, but they just suck again and again.
That's funny because I'm not a naturally competitive person. I hate competition sports. I ran track and cross country, but I ran cross country thinking it would get me in better shape for rock climbing.
Was it imposed upon you? Was it something you wanted to participate in?
It was totally imposed upon me.
Hit me with a gobble. Hit me with that wild turkey. No, Brad. Hit me with that wild turkey. I want to drink this drink. I want to drink my drugs. I want to smoke my drugs. I want to ingest a nice turkey gobble.
Wow.
Oh, hey, we're doing a podcast. Hey, oh, hey, Bradford. You're gonna love my nuts. People don't know that inside joke.
I should.
Was that Vince from ShamWow?
Yeah, that fucking.
Vince from ShamWow. There's a remix.
He beat a prostitute.
Beat a prostitute.
So bad, he's in jail still. I think.
Vince from ShamWow looks
he might
like
be dead.
Possibly.
Is he
looks
dead?
like the type of guy that
dead.
would beat a prostitute.
I saw this
and
thing.
Then die in prison.
I saw this thing. They compared Billy Mays versus that guy, and Billy Mays was such a better salesman. He would just say it in such a fun and loving way.
Yes.
And the other guy was like, "Look at the ShamWow. What are you, an idiot? You got to buy this thing.
You gotta buy my nuts.
Like,
I love my nuts.
I love my nuts.
He has like one eye that's totally open while the other cringes.
I love that.
A little Turk, a little gobble.
We'll sip some Turk.
Ooh. Ooh.
Do you slam like sipping whiskey like that? That's just whiskey, by the way.
The price is wrong, bitch.
Do you have any whiskey with you on your trails yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I drank a lot.
Woo!
I drank too much.
You gotta be drunk while you're on your trail. That helped a lot. Helps keep the blood circulating.
Probably
in the
not.
Mountain snow.
That was probably a bad idea.
Do you ever result to cannibalism?
No.
I got a question for you. What's the most brilliant outdoor innovation you've ever seen, you bearded twat?
Ever seen?
Yeah. Or heard about. I don't care what the idea, what orifice that idea innovation penetrates that stupid body of yours. I want to know.
There was a guy who would do trailcraft on a YouTube channel or something, and I wish I was that crafty.
Was he yoked?
Yeah, probably. I don't know if it ever actually showed
his dick?
Him.
Oh.
But he made an outdoor kiln.
Kiln?
Kiln. K-I-L-N. Kiln.
What's that?
So he was just like on his own on an island or wherever you want to picture him being, but it was like how to build a kiln in the outdoors. So this is like the ultimate how to survive. Like you see all these shows, Survivor Man or whatever, but this is how to like make a house, like how to survive where you are in the outdoors.
Right.
So he would find shelter, food, water, the big three. He would make his place. But then it's like, how do I make shingles for my shelter now? How do
what?
How do I make a clay pot? Like what took humanity from apes to Rome?
That's hard for him to discern because he already knows all of it. He knows the steps. It's like he has the cheat code in his DNA.
Well, it's not a video game. It's how did people do this in the beginning?
Right.
How did humanity?
Well, it's like he's living that way, but it's like, how does that idea progress? How does the clay do it?
Well, so it was out of necessity. Necessity is the mother of invention. It was how do we invent something for what we need? How can we make our lives better now that we have a bamboo
fire
shack? Yeah, so he made a fire.
Fire was like, I was thinking the other day, what made us start cooking our food? Because from Neanderthals, these cavemen that went from eating raw meat, eventually, because we can't eat raw meat now. We've evolved to the point where we have to cook our food.
Well, we've always been omnivores.
Correct.
So we were hunters and gatherers.
But cooking food, that shifted our enzymes, our bodies.
Yeah, it did.
By cooking the food because it tasted better. That's what drove us. Is
it wasn't?
Preference?
I don't think it was taste. I don't know what drove
it. Could have been like preference. I mean, what caused us to start cooking our food?
It was. I don't know. It was probably necessity.
Speculation.
Maybe. So we've got our molars, right? We only have 2 incisors.
Yeah. For the meat.
We only have 2 incisors for meat. We are mostly molars. So we mostly gather. I don't know. Now I'm speculating.
No.
Maybe we mostly gathered and ate plants.
I'm looking at you.
And maybe during the winter there weren't plants, there were only animals. So we needed something. I don't think we can just eat raw meat and not get sick. I don't think. Can monkeys eat just raw meat like that?
I mean, I was gonna ask. you.
They do. I don't know if they can like survive off of it for very long.
Were gay cavemen accepted in the tribe?
I mean, there was no reason. There was no reason.
He has 2 spears. Let him hunt.
I think again, necessity. The only necessity for was to make more babies because you'll die and half your babies will die.
When do you think homosexuality within, say, any sentient kind of species? I mean, I said all that before, but that's a joke.
I think it's always.
When do you think?
I think it's always been there.
An inherent quality of human beings is homosexuality.
Who the knows?
I don't know. I'm just thinking about it right now. It's like, when did that become a thing? Right.
I think it's always been a thing. I think we hit a point where it's not just necessity. We're not just to make babies. This was like millions of years ago when we're not just trying to conserve our species. Now
population this is achievable, and in fact, it is easy.
I think the second we for fun, homosexual became.
When
a thing.
did we start for fun?
Before Rome, I don't know. Half the Romans were gay.
Seriously, no, way before Rome. But when did sex become something not? Because sex, in essence, is survival.
Well, sex has to be fun because non-sentient, animals without a consciousness need to fuck.
Who are we to say they don't have a consciousness?
Animals, not humans.
Yes.
Any other animal needs to fuck to continue their lifespan.
Do any other animals fun besides dolphins? Dolphins?
Yeah, that's it.
So for us, we and it is for fun. Rarely is it for just the sole purpose, except for Mormons, to repopulate the world with thousands of our brood. Christians. Yeah, Muslim. Anybody. Okay. People. Religious.
Yeah.
Insert religious.
People
XYZ.
who hate people masturbating and
Absolutely. But when it became for fun, why is that the deciding factor between having sex to survive? You eat, you hunt, you kill, you repopulate, you survive. That is the basis of anybody. So people could say homosexuality is against survival because it doesn't repopulate.
You could say that, I think.
Right?
Yeah.
And in fact, it's humans that can do it because there's so many of us now. Maybe
we don't.
That influenced our
DNA,
our evolution to, it's like, you know what? Oh, it's cool.
Could be. Could be.
Is that a hole? They just said fuck.
We just figure out gays.
I don't.
It could be.
Why do you think it upsets people so much that people are gay? Who gives a f?
My ex would not be around gay people. She just hated the belief. Her mom, destroyed her.
Wow.
Mental image of what gay people are.
How much? That really.
I lived with gay people.
Really upsetting.
Gay people are the best, and
they are. But why do you think that so much of what what you're raised with, I guess, resonates with you?
Yeah.
So how much should people be held responsible for the beliefs that were sewn into their souls as they were being raised? Or do you think people should have an inherent ability to, as a child, to say what my parents are telling me, what I'm being raised with, these ideals I'm being raised with, are false. This is bad.
There's no way that child can know, which is really sad.
It sucks that when you see these KKK faces, these neo-Nazis, these people that are looting and going crazy, are born of these selfish ideals. Or they just see their parents, they just see parents that don't give a about them and realize, okay, I don't give a about anybody else. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
It really does blow. Glug, 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 glug.
I don't know where you're going with that.
Me neither, dude. I honestly completely forgot what we were talking about, if I'm being completely honest with you.
We are all products of our parents, if that's what you're getting at.
We are.
But
wow,
we can all decide for ourselves once you hit a certain age.
Oh, it was about gay people having sex. And when did humans become gay?
Yeah. We can all decide what we want. I don't think gay people have a choice. If that's the words you're putting in my mouth. We're not saying that.
Something put in your mouth, Brad?
Love that dick.
It's just gay people. Here's how I see it. If you're gay, that is the same as somebody being white, somebody being black, somebody being Oriental, somebody being Spanish. Doesn't matter. How can you be cured of being gay?
That is the biggest amount of bullshit.
Frightening me if anybody believes that you can be cured.
Yeah.
As if gay is a disease.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Would you qualify yourself as a religious person?
I would flounder if somebody called me religious. I would say I'm more spiritual or religious. I've doctored what I've been told, what I've been raised to believe, into something that more aligns with what I think is what religion should be.
That's a good answer.
Never tormenting somebody into thinking you're going to go to this eternal hell, this evil, because you don't believe in what I believe.
Yeah.
People asserting what they believe by force is the antithesis of what you should be standing for. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
If you need to frighten somebody into thinking how you think, then what you think might not be pretty strong. You must be pretty insecure in what you believe in if you have to scare somebody.
And what you believe in is probably pretty fucked up.
Pretty fucked up indeed, sir. Yeah. And that's what bothers me so much about religious fanatics, about political fanatics. Yeah. Is this inability to see from the other side.
Yeah, left-wing or right-wing fanatics.
Either way.
Radicals in any sense of the word.
In any sense of the word.
Are probably wrong. And
from any, say, like whatever race war that you're on, you have to be able, as us as white guys, we can only empathize with what the black community goes through for so much.
Yeah, right.
I've never been pulled over or beat for any reason, or just for the that I'm who I am, being pulled over. Another dude, Stephen A. Smith. We were talking about stories earlier. The black dude is if not the biggest anchor for Sports Center, or just kind of opinion standpoint guy. He said he told a story one time on the radio, and he got pulled over, he got taken out, and then one of the cops, oh, that's Stephen A. Smith. They're like, all right, they let him be.
Yeah.
Because he's Stephen A. Smith, because he's a name. But if you're black man, black woman, XYZ, you're gonna chill there. But
until they find some reason.
It's just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. See, that's some institutionalized.
That's it. That's what it is. Do you give it time? Do you have Do you have your torches and pitchforks?
You can't give it time. We gave it time last time.
Mm-hmm.
As a people, as a culture,
We've been giving it time for too long.
People are sick of it.
I think that's why we're seeing so much. I mean, it sucks. I don't want to see looting and all this violence. I want to see people protesting. I love it. And to see the stores of these people that are out there protesting, to have their stores looted and shit, that is the antithesis of what protesting's about.
Yeah.
You're destroying this country that you're trying to protect. What the fuck are you doing?
But there's okay, I have very mixed feelings,
please.
It's like there are protesters in every city, which is awesome. People of my race and of every race, of people who are just sick and tired of
everybody's in on it right now.
People who are just sick and tired of seeing this on the TV, of institutionalized racism, killing people, killing citizens from a state-funded police force. The police force is funded by taxpayer money, and if these taxpayers are getting killed by the police against their civil rights, there's something wrong with that, and that's been going on for a long time.
Right.
So protests are great, but the rioting and the looting taking place where the actual killings are happening makes sense also. Like what I was saying earlier, when a whole town is subjugated to living in a prison, being treated like they're living in a prison by the prison guards, who are the police, who are paid for by them to protect them.
I would lose if somebody killed
and they're
Skylar,
furious, and they will burn that prison down. And it's understandable. I wouldn't do it, but I kind of get it.
If somebody killed Skylar, somebody killed Keith, somebody killed Vance, somebody did wrong by your family. It's beyond your family. It's like, how are we supposed to know if white people were oppressed?
Yeah,
that's not our MO. But if somebody killed Skylar, if somebody killed Keith, whatever in my family, I would lose. I wouldn't give a fuck who I take down.
If it was just some guy who killed one of our family, if it was some guy that killed Skylar, I'd help you kill him. That guy sucks. If it was a cop, that was paid for by your taxes to kill Skylar,
what are we supposed to do?
You can't do anything. You protest. You burn that down, and that's what they're doing. You can't do anything. You can sue the government. Sue that cop, but you can't sue the cops because there's some weird thing that says if they're a cop on duty, they can't be sued, because if it has to fit perfectly. There's this thing on John Oliver that the case has to fit exactly with a pre-existing case. So if the wording doesn't fit, if you're suing this cop because he went down into a ravine and shot someone, but in the pre-existing case, he went down into the woods and shot someone, they can't be prosecuted because it's not the same thing.
Right.
Which is up. It's the same thing. So there's a thing going into... It doesn't matter.
John Oliver. I forgot to bring your plants in, by the way.
You did forget to.
I'm so sorry.
No,
Brad.
They'll survive.
Oh. That's wild.
Anyways.
What? It's that hard to prosecute cops. It's because it's part of the system, right?
Yeah.
But not all cops are these pieces of shit.
I agree.
These absurdly
I agree.
power-grubbing...
It's not a bad apple situation. There are bad apples.
Lots.
It's above them. The cops, I think, are human beings just like us. A lot of them are doing great things right now. Some of them are pieces of shit.
Crying.
Some of them are KKK and blah blah blah, and everyone's trying to defund the cops or whatever. But it's not about. It's above that.
It's so much more.
It's above that.
It's outrageous.
Yeah.
Here's a sentiment I was thinking about before the corona, before George Floyd, all this was. There were shootings on the reg, saying Texas, say that Walmart, whatever. There's Sandy Hook. There's whatever shooting XYZ at Las Vegas. How many good deeds do we as individuals need to do? Not just because it's part of who we are and what we should do, but because we need to do it to outdo this evil. How many hugs, how many doors do we need to open for other people? How many other cars we need to let into the freeway to outdo a fucking Las Vegas shooting?
You can't outdo it. All you can do is change how we take mental health. That's the only reason.
It's these outliers, though. I can't believe there's so many of these people that are willing to kill so many people.
Yeah, I mean,
to what end? We'll never know.
Yeah.
And do you think it does it justice to let these people be known, or to not let their name go out there? So, because some people do it. Who are we to say they do it just so their name is known?
Some people do it for the notoriety, which is so fucked up. And no, we shouldn't give them the time of day, because that could spark more people who want to get their name out there, who want to be the next
it's like, if say we were to capture one of them and we ask them, why did you do this? There is
we
not
did that
a word they would say.
The Colorado guy. And
the red hair?
Yeah. We caught him.
Whatever he said. I don't know what he said.
Because we're not giving him the
I don't know what anybody say. Yeah. It's not going to make us feel any better. The people are dead.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. These people are fucking sick.
What does
matter? They're not people anymore.
Okay, exactly.
They're not people.
So the only answer to that, because they did what they did for whatever reasons, the only answer is to figure out why and maybe help people who do think that way.
I guess the why would be some kind of variable in the equation of figuring out all this bullshit. These sick fucking individuals that go out and kill, that blow themselves up, and these are the same people in the Middle East that are told you're gonna go to some afterlife.
I think that's different. I think that's a whole different podcast. That's a religion thing, or not even a religion. No, that's culture.
I got a question for you.
Do it!
I got a question.
I feel like we didn't get into that enough.
It's okay.
But okay.
I can't remember past 5 seconds ago.
We're talking about serial killers,
school shootings, just the human psyche at large.
Yeah.
Is there a hive mindset that goes into, say, this two-class system, into, say, the political Democrats, Republicans? Is it so easy? I find it in news and just the world at large is generalizing people so easily. The white race is so... One person speaks for the whole race. One black man speaks for their whole race. One politician from the Democratic side speaks for all the Democrats.
You know what's crazy about that right now? That I don't see a lot of people talking about is the whole belief system behind being a conservative Republican and having guns and exercising your Second Amendment right was to fight against the government when they came to take your guns.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The Second Amendment is to fight against the government.
That's a government rule that you have. Whoa,
it was an amendment.
Really?
It was an amendment by the people in the Constitution to say, hey, we should have guns. If the army has guns, and if the president's in charge of the army, and if the president wants to take our guns, we should have guns to protect us against your guns.
So wouldn't that unite Democrats and Republicans?
Yeah. Right now.
Right now more than ever.
Right now.
Right now more than ever.
The Second Amendment is so amazing, and people hate on Republicans and conservatives, and I don't find myself as any of them, but I appreciate guns. I think they're useful. I think they're tools. If in the right hands, they're extremely important.
That should go without saying.
You have to be responsible, yeah. But the whole idea of having the Second Amendment to bear our right to bear arms is to fight against people trying to take them from us.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
That's it. That's the amendment. So right now the whole thing is our commander-in-chief is trying to use the army, our sitting powers,
our guns,
to come in and fight against our civil rights, to fight against our right to protest. Which should be bringing out conservatives and Republicans with their guns to fight against that. Instead, we have conservatives with Trump flags and everyone toting Trump for his awesome leadership in this hour.
Toting.
When he is not either Republican or Democrat, he's something else.
Do you think it's
flexing on the people when conservatives and Republicans both agree that the government shouldn't be doing this kind of thing?
Do you think it's going to come to armed conflict within these cities?
No, I don't think so. No.
Is armed conflict the only way resolution can be had?
No, I think policy change within policing.
Here's something we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Is voting with a system that doesn't work going to invoke these policy changes? Or is it armed conflict that's going to invoke these policy changes?
No, it's people like governors and...
We don't trust these governors. Gavin Newsom banged his campaign manager's wife.
Cuomo did something kind of interesting. And everyone,
what's Cuomo?
New York.
Okay.
Everyone hates Cuomo. I will say, I never even saw Cuomo's face before the pandemic, before
I heard quarantine. He was doing great in this whole thing.
I appreciate what he was doing. He was on TV every single day, really giving people leadership. It was him and Fauci, Dr. Fauci, Fauci was with Trump saying, no, Trump's wrong about that. Here's what people should be doing, like actually providing leadership. He was the CDC guy, the actual medical whatever of the government. I don't even know these terms. But Fauci was great. Fauci was the doctor of the quarantine time to listen to. He was the guy, and he did a great job, I think, of saying Trump's wrong. Do this. We don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully, it gets better.
Right.
And just hearing that was like, all right, someone actually kind of knows, is on top of what's going on at least. And Cuomo was talking to everybody of New York, saying, hey, this sucks. Here's all the facts. Here's all the facts of what's going on. Every fact. We need help. Government's not giving it to us. Trump, please help us. Here's all the other governors' problems. Cuomo was kind of in charge of all the governors, I feel like, from what I saw here in Boise.
We're in Boise right now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
In the middle of bump.
Keep talking.
But anyways, Cuomo was saying something interesting about how to treat. He was saying that 911 calls that are now going to come in about. He was saying false racist 911 calls will now be deemed as race crimes or as hate crimes.
How are you supposed to know if somebody's being hated? This black man's about to rape me. This white man's about...
It's going to be hard.
How can you tell by a phone call if somebody's being inherently racist?
It's going to be hard, but it's kind of... Maybe in those calls, an armed police officer won't be called. Maybe if it's a black man, having an argument with his girlfriend or wife and something, then an armed officer won't be called, and then it'll become a race thing, and he'll get shot or something.
How much data can we pull from the show Cops itself? That's been on the air for well over 20 seasons.
Is it still going on?
Demographic.
I feel like it stopped.
It's still going on. They actually had a cameraman die for the first time within the past 5 years. A cameraman died for the first time. No way. Yeah.
Live PD is draining track.
Live PD for sure, and it's. I don't want to know how many, because I know my buddy Kerry, SFPD, and his cousin is highway patrolman. How many people they ask, would you like to have a ride along with me, just to see what it's like, a day in my shoes?
Yeah.
How many of these protesters need to do that?
I agree.
But I feel like a lot of protest for a reason. There's no reason not to protest when a person is murdered on the street by people that should be protecting you.
Yeah.
That is outrageous. I want to say defund police. Give more money into the system that can produce better police. That does not allow this type of person to fall through the ranks and give them a gun.
It really worries me. I'm a criminal justice major. A lot of those guys in there should not have had guns.
They have guns.
I was in classes with these idiots who passed.
But you spoke with these guys, these cops?
No, I was a criminal justice major.
Right,
These guys needed their criminal law degree
right.
to do whatever the they're trying to do, become SWAT or lawyers or something, and they were morons. Should never have had guns in the first place, and they could be on the streets right now. It was a very volatile time for cops then too.
Indeed.
And it's the same. And now it's the same. Yeah, it's the same as back in.
Impossible job.
When was that? 2013.
Yeah. It's an impossible job to be a cop these days. There's no easy day you could.
okay, being a cop is not an easy job.
No.
It's not an easy job. And I respect every cop who is sincerely trying to do a cop's job, which is a civil servant. Cops get paid by taxpayer money to do the taxpayers kind of almost do their bidding. They're public servants. That's it.
Mm-hmm. That's what they are.
Yeah.
And
they're not soldiers.
That's why I feel like they should have a connection with that public, with that specific niche.
Totally
you can't put a white guy into New Orleans.
No. Back when police forces,
somebody that is born and raised from.
Back when police forces were becoming a little hint of an idea in Boston, there would be a cop walking the beat, checking in on and Miss whatever the. You don't see that anymore. You get people straight up afraid of the public servants that they pay for.
You should not see a cop and be afraid. You should be this is a person who's part of my community.
This is a person I paid his salary to help me. Yeah.
And why is it scared? I, as a white guy, maybe I'm just a paranoid little bitch.
I've had problems with the law. I've had problems with the law, but for the right reasons. They've been in the right every single time.
Because you're a scumbag.
I'm a scumbag, and I get it. But I appreciate what they do, and I thank them for their service because I'm a idiot.
All right, I know we're both a little buzzing right now. We're like little bees. What is your most egregious crime against this great country of ours?
I'm not gonna answer that.
Skull!
I've spread too much of my seed around.
Seed.
Did you write that one down? What's your most egregious crime against society? That'd be f***ed up.
What have I done?
What have you done? You've pissed a couple
honestly,
places.
just the speeding, a little speed. Yeah. I was going a little quick in town, got pulled over. I said I'm going to my buddy's house over there. Was like literally an eye shot of my buddy's house. Hold on.
Hadouken!
Mine was probably just driving tipsy.
They caught you? You wild animal!
I've been caught. But that was the thing where I was doing something dangerous, and
very much so.
Cops did their fucking job.
So you can't get cops. You can't get mad at cops for doing their job.
No, not at all.
People get mad for
I'm so not mad at cops. I'm still afraid of them on the streets.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen what they can do.
When you have a gun, I'm not at a point where I am comfortable with firearms. I'm very scared. I'd be lying if I say I wasn't scared of them, but not completely comfortable. I don't know how to take them apart and clean them. I'd like to take a course to feel more comfortable with them and have a competency where it's like a pistol's in front of me. I know how to handle it. I know how to reload it, or a revolver, or a shotgun, whatever.
If it's going to be in your hand, you should know how to handle it.
I want to be comfortable handling it so I don't feel scared that at any moment it's going to shoot off and kill somebody. My folks invoked the fear in me that any kind of firearm, paintball gun, BB gun, airsoft, whatever.
Never aim it at a person. If I aimed a squirt gun at my dad, he would whip it out of our hands and smack us with it. It's like,
what my coach,
never point a gun at a person.
My coach, my senior year, my junior year, my coach, I'm gonna name drop, Brad Burton, had an eye going off this direction. He's looking at you and he had an eye going off because
is he the Chaw one?
No. Okay, no. This guy, he would tell us like, hey, I was playing paintball with slingshots one day. I popped out on my bush. I took off my mask to clean my eyes. Some kid just popped out and fucking shot.
That kid.
Like 6 surgeries later, his eye was saved, but his eye is off to the side.
Oh, that sucks.
It's fucking wild.
Paintball with slingshots.
Yeah.
That's sick. That's a great idea because you don't get those kids with the dual action triggers and the high action see.
Love it. I would be so pissed because I had the cheapest of the cheap paintball gun with the cheapest paintballs you can get. So there's probably me. All right, so somebody from me to you, right?
Yeah.
I'm shooting and they're just going all over. You were in a warp drive. Just
mine was like a single shot. You had to like cock something back to load the paintball.
Oh my god, it's disturbingly bad.
And you get these kids with the match grade triggers on their paintball guns.
I have a question.
Go for it. What were we talking about before this?
Penis.
Guns. Something about guns. Anyways, respect guns, everybody.
Respect the guns.
Firearms are a tool in the right
The
hands.
modern day saber. Not even.
No, they're a tool. They're a tool.
They are.
They're a craftsman's
a
tool in
sword,
the right
you have
hands.
to have a will to kill somebody.
Yeah.
A gun can kill somebody because you're dumb.
So, a certain state...
It sounds like Arkansas.
No, they tried to do something really interesting, which is
South Dakota.
A police officer would have to file paperwork every time they pulled their gun and pointed it at someone, which I think is a really good idea, because you shouldn't be pointing a gun at anyone unless your aim is to kill that person.
There's so much responsibility,
or at least subdue them.
Yeah.
So a cop who is in a very serious situation should have no problem, like, maybe I have to file a piece of paperwork in a second. If I have to pull my handgun right now, so be it. And that thought should barely cross their mind. But if a cop is just pulling out their handgun every single time to get someone to do what they want,
right,
and maybe filing that paperwork will stop them from doing that.
Well,
that law was blocked hardcore by the police who sanctions workers' rights. What's that called? No. It's a union. The police union said, no, you can't do that. It'll stop someone from pulling their firearm in a very serious situation.
A little extra paperwork.
I think it was a good idea. But it got blocked so hardcore.
Whatever
That's some
needs
institutional
to happen,
stuff that could change. That might actually change something.
There needs to be a set of rules. This is an impossibility, but to synchronize the rules and regulations with officers' reactions and gut feeling is, I need to pull my handgun, and my gun being raised diffuses a certain amount of what my gun raising will beget
escalate.
these amount of reactions. From these reactions, I can do X, Y, Z. Not holding my gun, holding on my hand, what have you. Whatever this new training needs to be, this is what money needs to be going towards, is this new kind of cerebral and the way of actions, the way they go about things needs to be a drastic change.
So
where murder can't happen.
Yeah.
This guy did nothing. Like, yes, I heard George Floyd was reported because he might have had a $20 bill that might have been fake.
Yeah. So in that situation, like in a crazy situation,
please, sorry.
In a wild world, a police officer wouldn't even be called to that situation. That would be someone else without a gun. That wouldn't be a militarized person with military training, which is fine in the right situation. I've been to those trainings. I know how cops learn how to shoot people. But if a cop is thinking predator prey, and he goes to a big black guy who used a fake $20 bill, but if it's a big fat black guy giving him sass, he's gonna want to put him down and flex his fucking badge or whatever. Winds up killing the guy. That was completely preventable in every sense of the word.
Not need to have
that should not have happened.
That would have been, say he gets arrested.
He barely committed a mismisdemeanor, and the guy killed him.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. That it's this type of selection process. You can't give anybody a badge.
Yeah.
There needs to be a deep psychological evaluation of what this person's capable of. If you're capable of murder for somebody that has a $20 bill, I don't care what they're doing in the back. My buddy, I'll just say a person that I knew that is in the police force. I might have mentioned
that you already mentioned.
Right, I'm just saying, it could be him, it could be anybody else. But you're in a situation where somebody's being belligerent. Say they're holding up a store.
Yeah.
You're a cop. You have to maintain the peace.
Yeah.
And he's like, you have to clock somebody. Whatever you have to do. Say you're outweighed by 300 pounds. There is a female officer that is tangling with a 350-pound belligerent, possibly on drugs, maniac that is holding up a store, that is doing whatever you call in your backup. You have to do what you have to do to subdue this person. This is very anecdotal, but police are put under so much stress to do their job in the most clean and spotless conditions.
They totally are. But that should be their only job. The police chief of Dallas was saying that police have so many other jobs besides just taking care of that one thing, that they're exhausted and they will do rash measures or whatever. So, and that's a good point. Get rid of all their other jobs. If police are meant to deal with that one situation, to deal with people being belligerent, then send that police force to that. Stop making them chase dogs and stop making them deal with mental health issues. Stop making them deal with drug issues. That could be a totally separate force.
I think there's a separate police entity.
Without guns.
What do we call that? Is it something separate than the police?
We can make it up.
Police number 2.
Who the cares?
Police 2, P2.
No, there could be a mental health section. There could be a dog. We have dog catchers.
But Brad, this might create new jobs.
Imagine that. That's crazy.
Shut the f up.
Who wants that right now?
You know what? You make me sick.
We can't have jobs right now.
Your white face.
We got to rely on
just really blackens my day. Skull!
Blackens my day.
Hadouken!
All right. Hey, I got questions here.
That's
only 2 hours in.
Really?
All right. Has anyone or anything found the Voyager? That fucking. We were talking about this earlier. That fucking satellite. We spit it out of the earth.
Questions are all over the place.
We spit it out. Well, one of my other questions were, before you answer the Voyager question, there is a question that we are all connected to nature. No matter how connected to technology we are all connected to nature as human beings, as animals, or anything like that. Does nature, as we view it and see it in terms of this earth and the roots that go throughout the soil, throughout our souls into this 4th dimension, does that expand beyond just Earth, but to Mars, but to Pluto, but to beyond, but to other galaxies? Is this nature more than just Earth? This equator, that is our nature. But is that the same nature that exists everywhere? There could be billions of light years away.
Such a loaded
some
question.
Blue fucking faces of police that have taken over the earth, and they're just like,
just a bunch of
nature
blue.
Doesn't mean shit. I'm gonna pee on the
I am
ground
the law.
Law. Very loaded question, but does this nature on Earth? I feel like that has to be subjective to any species.
So number one, we're all star stuff.
Law.
Number one law. We're all star stuff.
Star stuff. We are.
In that video I showed you today, where nothing was here, before the Earth started.
No, there's nothing without.
But
we're all made of the same shit.
But everything else was still there, just not here. Now that we're all here, technically, all of that is also nature.
Are you trying to assume that any other sentient life on other planet have the same morals and values as we do?
No.
There can't be. That's impossible. There's no way. There's probably morals and values we haven't even considered.
No, the same ingredients, but that's it.
Ingredients?
Yeah, the same star stuff. The same not even the same biological chemistry. The same elements.
Oh, yeah.
We're carbon-based life forms. They could be
what about helium-872?
They could be helium-based life forms. They probably are. Helium is way more prevalent than carbon.
Helium, dude. I love it.
No, I don't think the Voyager has been found.
No? Do you think we would have heard back from the...
No.
It's probably been destroyed in a rogue planet.
It's the Fermi paradox. I think that's what it's called. Is where even if life existed, it was either billions of years ago or billions of years from now, or even if it exists right now in this time, it's way too far. It's billions of light years away. By the time they find it, we'll be dead. By the time they'll be able to come back and see us and show us what they found, we'll be long dead.
Bradford, who's to say that civilization or us
isn't next door
discovers them? Say we discover them, we're somehow able to survive. That they that we find, we could possibly bring them back from the dead. Just Jurassic Park their asses, find this other universe, or it's vice versa.
So I think it would be vice versa. Yeah.
Why not in the Voyager? Do you think that in the Voyager, this satellite that we launched out into space to help us? Because I think by the 60s, and when we launched it, 60s,
I don't know.
When we launched it, we knew we were f***ed. We knew there is no chance this human race
Before
will ever
the
get
Cold
together.
War, we're about to get
Before the
nuked out of
Cold War,
existence.
There's no way we could possibly work together to the point that we could possibly colonize other planets. The point that we could possibly save ourselves within this planet. Say there's no chance of interstellar of travel that we could possibly work together to the point where we can control our population and resources and work together. That is an impossibility. We launched the Voyager because there's no way that's going to happen.
I completely agree with you. I think the guys who made the Golden Disc and created the Voyager mission were saying, if anything ever finds this was us. This is what existed on that part of the galaxy, because it has directions towards where Earth was.
Right.
And it was saying, hey, when you go there, we're probably not going to be there.
Hopefully we're dead.
But this is what was there. Here's a golden CD or whatever.
It sucks to reference the Matrix Revolutions, not because it's a bad movie, but because of the sentiment in which it evokes, where Mr. Smith is saying that humans are a fucking disease.
It's
the
smell.
It's the smell. That's from the first one. It's just.
I love that.
It's the smell.
It's the smell.
It's just we go everywhere. We consume every fucking resource. Some humans are better
totally
at it
do.
than
Yeah,
others.
we're a virus.
Americans are just
Parasite.
parasite, where other, say, Native Americans were able to live systemically with their environment in equilibrium. Not eating too much, not taking too much, not overpopulating. We are overpopulated. We are taking too much. We are eating too much. We are consuming everything around us. And when I was driving over here, I saw a lot of land for f***ing more houses. A lot of land. But it's just the human nature is to consume everything.
Yeah.
Is there any way to kind of slow down this ravenous process?
We weren't always like that, It's kind of sad. Right now, probably not,
Are we too far gone to slow down this
money
wheel?
The way that it is, capitalism the way that it is, there's always going to be trying to pull from what hasn't become something
and make something. Realize that we're all going to die because of their greed?
It's not higher ups. It's people like you and me who are trying to make a buck, who say, hey, look at that land on the way to Idaho. Maybe I can make a buck off that. And then it compiles. Now you have $1 million, and that section of Idaho or that section of Oregon or Arizona is gone.
God damn.
And everybody does that. And that's, I think, human nature? No, I don't think it's human nature.
It's to survive.
I think it's American nature.
Well, American nature. Well, all right. So take our American nature, but the capitalist system, communism doesn't work because it's not capitalism. Because capitalism. No. Hear me out.
Why does
capitalism is so much more in tune with survival instinct. The harder you work, the better chances you have to survive. Yeah. There's no f***ing animal species other than ants, maybe, to where everybody f***ing gets a share.
And how long have ants been around?
Millions.
20 million years?
Millions of years.
20 million years.
If there is some kind of human communist society to where we are so
there's no way that's possible.
There's such ambition. There's innovation. Because communism, why that won't work is because it sets a benchmark that stops that 1 in a million human that knows interstellar activity, that is that fucking Albert Einstein, that will fucking save us.
It's always been a human issue. The only reason communism won't work, which is what everybody says, this has been the idiom forever, communism won't work because of human error. On paper, communism is genius. It's the only way we can survive.
It's the only fucking way it will work.
And yet it's crazy because we're people.
People suck.
People do suck. But also being a American or being a person means you want to make a section of life for your own. You don't want to be just the worker in gray to survive, to further populate
the systems
hive.
Allows for such an over embellishment of that ambition that it is such a detriment to all others. To say our
now we're getting to the billionaires versus
the there will be blood.
Yeah, to the Daniel Plain views of the world.
Goddamn Daniel Day-Lewis be just sucking everybody's milkshakes.
Yeah,
bringing them all to the yard.
But if everyone had a small milkshake, it might work out.
Why can't we have a collective consciousness of preservation? Why doesn't why don't people get it? Why don't people get it? Like because we yesterday,
because we all want $1 billion.
we were
because we all want to be a billionaire.
By the lake the other day. We saw a wine bottle in this crystal clear, pristine fucking water going into the Boise River.
That was sad. This is the cleanest city I've ever been in, and yeah, that was a bummer. It was a Budweiser bottle, but still, there's homeless. There's homeless everywhere.
All right, so before I go piddle. We're talking about the gross. Voyager. There is a record on said Voyager with music on it.
Oh,
for
look up what songs are on there.
Aliens to indulge. Before I look that up,
okay. There's that one blues song from America. I think
what
that's the
5 songs would you put on your record for any alien to spare us? When they find this, all right, let's listen to this music. All right, you guys. If this music sucks, they're done. We're gonna kill the blow them to hell.
What was that song from Attack on Attack All Human? No, Attack from Mars. Mars Attacks.
Mars Attacks.
What was that song that killed everybody?
Star-studded cast.
Jack Nicholson was in it.
Yeah. Pierce Brosnan. Jack Black is in it.
Jack Black's in it. He's the military dude.
I'm gonna take a piss.
What a stupid.
What are your 5
movie.
songs that saves the human race?
All right, I'll have to think about it. It's so biased because it's only from my experiences. It's not the human experience. If it was the human experience, it would be like, I don't know, some African drums and like it'd be like Bach and Mozart, but I don't like those.
Jimi Hendrix. What? All right, so Brad, it's your. Who gives a what other people think?
Well.
You're putting it Smash Mouth.
No. Yeah, All Star by Smash Mouth. That's my #1. No, I'm saying it's if it's based off my experience, it's not the human experience.
Well, what music you put in?
It would be based off my experience.
What is that?
If an alien came and saw anyone else, they'd say, "Hey, do you like this song?" They'd be like, "No, you weirdo."
No. It's not true. That's impossible.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
God damn, that is amazing. That
Stop
completely
screaming.
depends on who sings it. Why would you want an alien to listen to us sing it when you can have Jeff Buckley?
Jeff Buckley's version is so good. In the video, he's like crying, and then he died like a couple weeks later.
As he should have.
Mine would be "Wait by the River" by Lord Huron. So depressing. The aliens would kill themselves before they could get here to kill us.
And again.
Same with Hallelujah, though. So depressing.
It's beautiful, though.
It is beautiful, yeah.
I put on Crystallized by Lindsey Sterling. I don't give a fuck. I'm not. I feel like you cannot deny the modern taste that we can put on music that classical musicians had not available to them.
Yeah.
You know, we have so much more opportunity with synth and
maybe they would appreciate
Take
the little
me
electro
home tonight. I don't want to let you go
till you see the light. You got it. Good job.
You need to roll up. You got rock. You have spoken word. There's so much. There's Celtic music.
Yeah, like some Aboriginal like beatings, like, you know, music from around the world. No, no, songs from every country going out into space for aliens to listen to.
Fucking hope so.
I think they put some African hymn like
hopefully
bongo there.
Bongo.
I would put "Love It If We Made It" from the 1975 in there.
Love It If We Made It?
Yeah.
How's that go?
It's all about fucking what's going on 10 years ago now.
Ooh.
Civil unrest. If we blew ourselves up today, they'd listen to that song and go, "Oh, that led to some shit."
Yeah. No, it's good just for your own personal taste, you know? Who did we consult to put... How cool is it that us as humans decided, because every human was consulted when it comes to communicating with this outside entity, when we lost the Voyager, every human is consulted, right?
Oh, we were just rock hard the whole time.
Why is music such a way to define us?
It's a human thing.
Right.
It's a very human thing. Yeah. Well, that's like the first thing, even before spoken word, was to like bang things. You know, we were blowing paints against our hand to make cave paintings, and the next thing, besides, you know, we had fire and maybe a tool or two. You know, and that was it. And we would
just
like all of our energy was spent towards food, water, and shelter. So we would get in a cave, we got our shelter, we'd kill a mammoth, that's our food, we'd find some water or whatever, and we would and that was our entire life cycle. And yet we would still make time to find paint out of charcoal or out of minerals or elements to make handprints on walls.
Why do we
from
do that?
a million years ago? It's insane. And we evolved from those same people, and we're still making art. And I think sometime after, you know, the first cave paintings were involved, we started banging some shit together and
we added to it.
Music. I think that's deeply human to. So maybe aliens wouldn't even know what the to do with it, because this sounds stupid. Hadouken! But I think storytelling as a spoken word thing evolved from also a necessity. Like I was saying, necessity is the cause for invention.
What's a necessity for spoken word poetry, though?
Watch out for the saber-toothed tigers over there.
Poetry about saber-toothed tigers? Do you think that's where it came from?
Yeah, totally. 100%. That's what I think.
Is from life experiences.
Yes. Yeah, totally. So okay. So what we were saying earlier, some animals are born with innate camouflage or innate aversion to certain other animals that could kill them. We don't have any of that. We don't have claws, we don't have fur, we don't have camouflage. What we have are stories from our parents, from our grandparents saying, watch out for that animal.
Is that
watch out for the animal. Evolution? Here's how through spoken word.
We evolve through evolution through communication.
Yeah.
Animals can do that. Do you think that's because of our ability to exchange emotion?
Yeah.
Perhaps better than other animals allowed us to evolve faster? Because we're the dog, because dogs evolved with us.
Because we didn't have to wait for natural selection to do it. We could just tell each other, hey,
you guys
that's a animal. Don't go out there.
It's gonna get cut off.
Or or it's getting dark out. Don't go outside. Stay
close to this fire that we
just
created.
No other animal could do that. We have to tell each other that spoken word is so crucial.
Entertainment saved us.
Entertainment saved the human race for sure.
We're gonna go off the cuff. This is the 10 questions that have nothing to do with what we've been talking about, and you're going to provide me answers.
Yes, sir.
Give me answers.
I will give you answers.
Real good.
Give me your questions, I'll give you answers.
I have to go pee, though. Here we go. You answered the call to the wild. Why do so many people leave that call on hold?
Wow.
Shut up.
What a clever question. Oh, I don't think anybody else gets that call. I think I was white and no, I was lucky enough to get that call of the wild, and I took it. I don't think many other people get that.
We're going deep into our drunkological psyche.
I like it.
What's your favorite vowel?
Why? Because it's sometimes.
Oh my god, it is sometimes.
It just bounces back and forth like a rogue.
Like why? The rogue of why?
Doesn't even know what it is.
Oh,
who is
why?
it? Why?
Is it a question or is it a letter?
It's just why.
Cheers.
Why even ask if it's a vowel?
Let's tinkle our loops.
We are 1-1 in pool right now, by the way. We didn't play a third game.
Cocksucker, we're gonna go back there and settle the score. Piece of shit.
You piece of shit.
I feel like you might have won though. How handily you won the second round. 4 bowls up.
That's so bad. No, I suck at that game.
That's. Woo!
You alright?
How about it? Yeah, I need you to cook for me, Brad.
You good, bud?
Alright, number 2. One-on-one naked combat. You have Lord Baden Powell versus Brigham Young. One-on-one naked combat. Who wins in this death match?
If Brigham Young doesn't have guns or his family,
nothing.
Baden Powell.
Baden Powell.
Baden Powell.
Just Boy Scouts his ass.
Yeah, Boy Scouts his
squats
ass.
on his butthole.
He's a military man, just trying to teach boys to be military boys.
Yeah, man.
Fuck Brigham Young.
Moist.
Hail Satan.
You lose! Good day, sir!